of the trade, there's a place we all know, where stories spill like paint and the real talk flows. Baz and Sean bring the banter again, welcoming all to the Decorators Den.
Welcome to the Decorators Den Podcast with Baz and Sean. We are proudly sponsored by Nap and Bristle Decorating Supplies. Go and visit their website at www.napandbristle.co.uk.
And we're amazingly hit that 235th subscriber on YouTube. So keep subscribing. We're 65 subscribers away for you being able to give away the Nap and Bristle goodie box, by the way, troops. So keep hitting the subscribe button for us. And this week's guest needs no introduction, very little in introduction. We're joined by Russ, the Talking Tradesman Payne. So Russ
Thanks for having me, boys.
Amazing 34,000 followers across social media. He's gone from just being on the tools to growing one of the biggest trade podcasts in the UK. His focus is on real stories, real struggles, and pushing better conversations about mental health in the trade. How are you, my man?
I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. First of all, Baz, Sean, thank you for hosting me on your platform. It's a real honour to be a part of what you guys have got going on. So, and also, just a quick one, well done for getting as far as you've got and doing what you're doing. Because from one podcaster to another, I know the graft that goes into it. Yeah. So, well done, lads.
No, I really appreciate that. But the thank you goes to you. I know I've said it before, but without your help at the very beginning, we probably wouldn't be where we was, because as you know, at what time I was messaging you at like 11 o'clock at night, going, Russ, how do I do this? How do I do? What am I doing with that? And you, honestly, mate, you're so patient, and you're just like, yeah, I struggled as well at first and did it, but.
Mate,
honest
yeah,
to God,
exactly Baz.
We owe you a massive amount for where we are today.
Epitome, you mate, that just sums you up so well. It's like you're obviously supporting tradies all over the place, the way you're bringing up conversations, but that's what people don't see, that you're helping Baz at 11 o'clock.
Exactly, doing things behind the scenes that you're not shouting about, and you're not going, oh, this is what I've done, and this is what... And that's what makes you just a genuine person.
It's to be fair, Baz, it's like in that instance, it's because I've been there, you know what I mean? So I know what it's like when you're trying to get all that set up. I mean, much the same as you, I'm a painter and decorator, I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah.
So when you're getting used to like podcasting and the technology and all the different things you got to bring together to make it work, mate, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So I was more than happy to help you out. But yeah, listen, it's not, the thing is, when it comes to helping people, you shouldn't do it for the praise or for the attention of doing so, you know. And obviously a lot of what I do is quite public, but there's a lot of stuff I do that's not. But I don't feel the need to shout about everything, you know.
Exactly. See, again, that's what makes you genuine, because you're doing stuff. People know what you're doing, but you're not out there. Like, some people will go, well, I've been doing this and I've been doing that. You're not. You're just getting on with it, keeping yourself to yourself. If it comes up in conversation like it has now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's like the people that go around helping out the homeless, isn't it? But they film it while they're doing it.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that. Like, if you want to help people, just help them.
Just do it. Yeah.
And how does it feel being the interviewer becomes the interviewee this week? Because obviously you're the opposite. It's bound to be a wee bit more relaxed for you, surely. Eh?
Do you know what, mate? It is. It's. Let me turn that off. Sorry, amateur hour. Can you guys still hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. We didn't hear perfect. If you got a call or whatever there.
Oh, and it was a doorbell notification, mate. Even worse. Yeah. Do you know what, Sean? It's nice, mate. It's nice being on this side of it, because it's down to you guys to make this episode good, not me.
Exactly. No, don't pile the pressure on here.
I know, fucking hell. Right, Sean, it's all
not
you.
Not that I'm judging.
Well, so what we normally like to do to start the guests off is 20 quick fire questions, just to get you warmed up. So it's just the first answer that comes to your head. There's no right or wrong answers. Are you ready? Which is not one of the questions. Painter or decorator?
Decorator.
Powder or ready mix?
Ooh, filler or wallpaper paste? Either
Your
way,
favourite-
ready mixed.
Ladder or hop up?
Ladder.
Favourite brush?
Ooh, it's got to be the Paint Warrior Badger.
How many inches?
My head went in two directions then, mate.
Exactly,
2.5
yeah.
inch oval angle, mate.
Perfect answer. Perfect. We're coming back to that. Laser, spirit level, or plumb line?
Laser.
Most important thing in your lunchbox?
Do you know what, mate? I wish I had a lunchbox. And this is one of the things I'm trying to turn around. My habits are awful, so I'm like a meal deal every day, man, at the minute. I
Yeah.
don't even have one, mate. So
Meal
the most
deal-
important thing I could have in my lunchbox would be a lunchbox right now.
Yeah.
The lunchbox itself. Interior or exterior?
Interior,
Oil-based or water-based?
water-based,
Left-handed or right-handed?
right-handed.
One tool you would cry if you lost?
Ooh, there's so many. It's got to be the dustless sander at the minute, mate, I think.
Sand by hand or whip out the sander?
You already know the answer to that one now, don't you? It's going to be the whip out the sander.
Mirka or Festool?
Fez tool, Green Army.
What's worse, runs or roller lines?
Ooh. I'm going to go with runs.
Mask up or cut
Sean
in
had the runs
freehand?
last week. Sorry,
Always bad, isn't it?
Go on.
What was the next one?
Mask up or cut in freehand?
I'm going to cut in freehand.
Dust sheets or fancy protection?
Fancy protection, Q1 all day long.
Oh, brilliant. Synthetic or pure?
Synthetic,
Ladders or scaffolding?
scaffolding.
Paint with silk or strip wood chip?
Ooh. Strip wood chip. I can get that off good.
Yeah.
Fair play. And finally, the hardest question of the whole lot, Baz or Sean?
Oh, Sean, I'm going to have to say Baz because I've spoken to him more.
It's fine.
That's the
It's a
only
fair
reason.
answer.
The
It's a-
only reason.
Baz, I think you take the lead.
I'm taking the lead now. Nice
Aye, I
one,
think
Russ.
you-
Have I given you the edge?
4-5 to Baz, by the way.
Honestly, it's just a battle each week.
And I think by the way, that's 2 weeks on the bounce where somebody's just said Baz without.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
outright.
Well, last week it was Baz because I had a Rangers.
I see.
Rangers
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
behind me, so, but a legit win
Yeah,
for Baz.
normally.
Like,
So Sean's been in the lead, and then people will go. Sean will go, well, I'm in the lead, and they go, oh, well, I'll go for Baz then. So I get the sympathy vote rather than the genuine vote.
and look, I knew I needed the sympathy vote.
Sean's not going to mention that ever again. He's not going to tell anyone when he's in the lead again now.
Gonna get a tiny violin for the podcast. Paint Warrior Badger brushes, by the way, how bloody good are they, by the way?
Mate, they are so good.
Mate, listen, genuinely, I mean, hands up, I am an ambassador for Kevin Paint Warrior,
Yeah.
but regardless of that, mate, I mean, one of the things I've always been very open, and Kev's great with this, to be fair, I use other brushes because there are various brushes that I like. I used to love the Old Fields. I like the Proform Blaze. I like some of the Monarch brushes. I like some of the Silk Touch brushes.
Yeah.
But the Badger, for me, when it comes to finishing woodwork now, is the best brush on the
Yeah.
market. I've
There's
said
no
that
question,
publicly
is there?
before.
Honestly, no
No,
question
it's
about
just,
it.
it's exceptional. It is exceptional.
I think that helps because him being like, a bit like yourself, being a decorator, you know what other decorators want to listen to. Like I'm talking about your podcast, right? Kev being a decorator, he knows what kind of products he wants. He would
Yeah, of
want to
course.
use himself.
Yeah.
So I think that's how because the evolution of his paintbrushes, like his first series of paintbrushes with like what's his before the Badgers.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It's just his standard Paint Warrior brush,
I
yeah.
can't remember the series name, but even them, they were really good. But I think the Badgers just totally blew them out
Yeah.
the water, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
he really
Badger
upped his
is,
game with
it's
that.
just a different beast.
Yeah.
innit.
No,
Actually,
I've done a couple recently. I've done a couple of high-end kitchens
right,
with a hand finish, and I'd use a laying off brush,
yeah,
like a
yep.
soft laying off, like a Stylmeister, something like that. And I thought on the first one, I'll just give it a go. I'll use the Badger to lay it off and see if it's fine enough. Mate, it was absolutely banging. If you
yeah,
look on my profile, you'll see them. The finish was incredible. So yeah, tip my hat to him.
yeah. The Badgers, they're just the perfect brush. But do you know what else I like? So I am a big fan of Arrowworthy, but them Patriot brushes, fucking phenomenal. I love
I've not
the
used one
Patriot
yet. They're the new
brushes.
one, aren't they?
Pardon?
Are they the new ones?
I don't know if they're new, but
Aye,
they,
they're like the red, white, and blue brushes.
yeah.
Aye, they're quite
Are
they're
they new?
newish. Aye, yep.
Oh, okay.
Let's say
Yeah,
they're
I've not used
newish.
one.
But no, they're decent, and I quite like the I keep going to say Arrowworthy, the fucking Pro Forms.
Mate, I
Haven't
love
used
them.
them.
The Proform Blaze was prior to the Badger, the
Yeah,
Proform Blaze was my favourite woodwork brush.
yeah,
See, I quite like the Axis Mink series brushes, right? But
yeah,
I've since Paint Warriors Badgers came out last, what was it, March or something, or further
Yeah,
back. I think he previewed them at the show like 2 Novembers ago, but they never came out to about the March or something like that. I bought
mm,
them, and I bought the Steelmeister Pearl brushes. Now they're kind of pricey,
yeah,
and I've been absolutely bashing the life out of them to try and not destroy them, but I've
yeah,
not been taking too much care with them
yeah.
purposely to see how much rigorous um, testing I can give them. You couldn't destroy the Paint Warrior Badger brush.
No, the real.
Ev-
Do you
I
know what
mean,
I
my
yeah,
thought?
one's been soaked in Verisol and
Yeah,
been cleaned out. It's been through deep blues and purple colours, and it's still holding its shape. There's not a bit of black
mm,
paint left in the ferrule because
yeah,
because obviously I've it in Verisol. See the bristles?
yeah.
There's
the
hardly a
bristle.
bristle out of place on it. Like
Yeah. Well,
incredible.
I was just gonna say that. So I worried when I first bought them that um all the black would just peel off once
Yep.
you start washing them and that. But honest to God, once you fucking scrub them back up again, good as new. All the
I
I think
think
bristles,
I reckon maybe because they're white, people think they're delicate. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you
because they
look at it
do
and
no.
you're like,
look
oh,
like
I don't want
they do look delicate, don't they? But they're a
to.
proper fucking painter's
Aren't
brush.
they?
Them,
He's absolutely smashed. All credit to him, mate. He smashed
yeah.
it out of the park with that series.
I was just on
Definitely.
about to Sean last week on last week's episode. Um, he was doing a detail on his van. He got his van detailed. I want his van. It's fucking stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Um,
Innit?
It's a
I
beautiful
wouldn't be
van.
able,
but no,
I
do you know
wouldn't be
what?
able to
All
keep it
credit to him.
tidy.
He's worked hard to get where he is today, and he deserves it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Absolutely
mate.
deserves it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just good to see decorators doing good things.
yeah. And that's what me and Sean want to do. We want to promote decorators that are doing good. Do you know what I mean? It's we want to give back
Do
to
you know what,
decorators.
Baz? It's what's needed, mate. I mean, it might be a good time now for me to shoehorn in, obviously, what we're doing, being the GFA Awards. You
Hang on,
guys all
hang on.
right for me
Is
to
this
talk
an
about that?
exclusive?
Aye, yep, 100%.
It's out there, mate. It's
Oh,
out
is it?
there. But you nail on head, mate. Nail on head. It's the thing is with the construction industry as a whole isn't looked upon in the way it should be. Like, it should be elevated way above
Yeah,
where it is.
absolutely.
But then within the construction industry, you've got decorating, and we're billed as being like bottom of the pile with the construction industry, which is just wrong.
Yeah,
The industry, the trade has evolved so much. I mean, I've been in business 24 years now, and it's
yeah,
changed so much in that time. But now you've got people that specialize in like kitchen spraying or respraying, exteriors,
Yep.
windows, specialist wallpaper hangers, all the high level of decorating that's going on.
It's so
We believe.
multi-traded, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, some
It's
of
so
it, mate, I
it,
see like spraying, Sean, as a trade of its own.
yeah.
and
I think you
even
said that to
wallpaper
me
to
the
some
other.
extent. Can even
Yeah.
decorative finishes like you talk about your Imperial Italia and your Venetian plaster. And I know it's maybe a plasterer's trade, but you do get decorators doing it. And then there's like your wallpaper hanging, obviously, that we've done it for years. It's more into your decorator. And there's another one, I forget the name of it. It's like almost like paper mache kind of stuff that you put on the wall with a wee trowel, but you can re-wet it and
I know what you mean. It's
I forget the name of it, but there's so much multifaceted decorating
Yeah.
stuff in our industry that any of these dinosaur decorators nowadays that are saying, oh, I've done it for 40 years and I've done it this way and I've done it that way. The trade evolves so much that we're young blokes. Even we try and think, oh, we've got our fingers on the pulse. You're still missing out on something like.
Look how much decorators actually do, though. We, if the plasterer fucks up, he gets paid. Decorator sorts it out. Joiner fucks up. Decorator sorts it out, but he still gets paid. Electrician makes a big fuck off hole in the wall. Decorator will sort that out. Anything any other trade does, decorator will sort it out. Do you know what I mean?
There's the thing. Do you know what, Sean? One thing I want to mention, because I've said this a few times now. When you get these people, the dinosaurs of the forums that pipe up with I've been doing it 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. The truth of that matter, right? And I've been decorating 24, 25 years. I've been running my business. I went to work with my dad for 10 years before that. I started going to work with him when I was 8 years old. But I would say a good 80% of my knowledge is now completely irrelevant. It's fucking irrelevant.
Mate,
because everything has moved on.
We spoke about that. The technology in the decorating world has just advanced so quick. It's like now when you're asking questions in forums and stuff, you feel stupid because it's like it's evolving so quick, and you're like, how am I supposed to know that all this new stuff coming out? I don't know all this new shit.
I've got 15, maybe 20 years worth of experience just purely applying oil-based finishes to woodwork. I never use oil-based anymore. So all of that application method and the way that I used to work with that product is pretty irrelevant now. There's the odd, like I might use an oil-based system inside maybe once a year now at most because I've got a customer that requests it.
Well, it's like, because I was always taught the old school way, so I'm still relatively new to like laser levels because I've always used plumb bobs and spirit levels and shit. I've never really used laser levels, so
the problem is, mate, everyone, it's the wrong attitude with it is people think that if somebody does something different to them, it's got to be wrong. There's only one way of doing it, right or wrong. It's perfectly fine to use a plumb bob and a spirit level, but it's probably quicker and easier to use a laser. But if you're happy doing it the other way, then absolutely fine. Like it's not wrong. You're not doing it wrong.
You're gonna get the same result.
Exactly, Yeah. And I think too, when you're saying about like, so obviously I was the same when water-based paints changed in 2010. I was doing a bit of hospital work when I worked for my dad as well. And water-based paint back in 2010 was terrible, to be honest with you. It had no coverage power. But
it was.
And I always used to say, oh, it's shit. And then in the last few years, or more than a few years now, they've seemed to tweak their recipes. And I would say like Aquaguard, Scuff X, Caparol, their water-based paints are probably better than some oil-based paints out there, right? But then it's not just the paint itself, it's the process that changes. So obviously we all get trained traditionally and it was like ceilings, walls, woodwork in that order. But because your water-based paints are so good now and you can do multiple coats in a day, you actually find yourself doing ceilings, woodwork, taping up the woodwork and doing the walls last. Now, there's hundreds of dinosaur decorators out there, or maybe no even dinosaur decorators, some decorators out there that aren't even that old that'll say, oh, I want to do it that way. I can get a nice clean line, doing it the old-fashioned way, and 100% you can. But I think doing ceilings, woodwork, taping up the woodwork the following day and doing 2 coats on your walls, I think you get a exemplary finish on any job that you do. See when you're peeling off your masking tape and everything's working out and the nice sharp crisp lines that are meeting in the corners now, you can't replicate that doing it. Woodwork last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
It's everything though, isn't it, Sean? It's like back in the day, like my favourite brushes would have been a Hamilton pure bristle, like a You know what I mean? Because that was how you worked with oil-based paints. These
I
days, you've got to have a
really
tapered
wore
edge
down.
synthetic.
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
wore down Hamilton pure bristle brush for
yeah,
laying
yeah,
our
yeah,
floor. Eh?
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly, but this is what I mean. Like, it's changed, it's moved on, and I've crossed over. Like, I think I've been in the trade long enough to say, look, I used to do it like that, but I prefer it like this now.
Yeah.
The people that get stuck, mate, I think it's just they're threatened. That's all it is.
Well,
They
it's
don't want to
like,
change. They don't want to move on, and they're threatened by. They think again that they're being told that they're now wrong, so they come out defensive. And, you know, they'll turn around and go, oh, I did a 19-year apprenticeship back in 1932 and blah, blah, blah. And if you didn't do it this way, then you lot, you know. I've seen some comments recently on a few forums and it's just had me rot. I don't engage because I can't be asked with that kind of energy, but it's it baffles me that people find the need to fight for these old methods. It's like turning around going, do you know what? Actually, all you lot that use automobiles, you just, you know, you're cutting corners. If you did it properly, you'd spend 2 years learning how to ride a horse properly and get round on a horse. There's nothing wrong with horses. Horses get you from A to B. They always have. Well, yeah, they do, but a car will get you there a lot quicker and more
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need
comfortably.
to MOT a horse.
Exactly.
To be fair,
I
though,
can't
I
make
think
it to the
that,
party
like,
tonight. My
I
horse has
feel
failed its MOT.
imagine taking
That's
a
why you should
ladder
stick
and a
to
horse
horses,
to work,
Baz.
by the way. I feel sorry for some of them, though, because imagine living in a world where you're no using Zinza products or Smith and Roger products,
Do you
and
know
you're
what?
just using 16-hour drying time oil-based undercoat
Mate,
hour of stain when you could be
Zinza
finished.
products, again, another
Yeah.
game changer. Absolute game
Mate,
changer.
there's so much. I mean, it's still evolving. I mean, at the moment, lads, I'm using. Have you seen Juno?
Yeah.
So I'm using a lot of Juno products, and they're new to the UK or newish to the UK market. They've been
Big up
around
Juno.
for. There you go, man. So, but they've only been over here available for about 6 months. So I'm getting used to their systems now. And again, there's differences in the way that that's applied.
I'm still
But,
yet to
you know,
try it. You've tried it, haven't you?
mate, hand on heart, their emulsions are the best on the market.
Yeah.
We
Well,
had
David
David-
says the same, doesn't he?
we had Blank Canvas, who's actually up for one of the Golden Finish Awards, by the way. So we had David Stanage, Black Canvas, on the podcast. This would be maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and Juno was, I would say, it was still in the infancy.
Yeah.
Oh, when
Yeah.
like we had never heard it, but he was a massive advocate for it, right?
Yeah.
So
I think from the
he
day
came on
the
the
day he
podcast
fucking
and he basically said that it was scrubbable, it was fire retardant. It had brilliant coverage power. He rhymed off about 7 or 8 things about. I'm yet to try it. So
yeah, I need to try it, but
I
I've
need
not
to jump
heard
into
a
this
bad word
trend.
said about it.
Honestly, if there's one product to try, the J33 that they sell, so that's their equivalent of like AR2 or the Technos Sealing,
Yeah.
the dead flat finish. So 2% anti-reflex paint. That's your finish. But the difference with J33 is it's class 1 scrub rated. It's also anti-mold. It's a unicorn paint. You can use it everywhere. Like you can use it in
Right.
kitchens and
Is
bathrooms.
it good for touching
You can
up?
use it ceilings, walls, all over because it's class 1 scrub rated. The opacity is unbelievable. I tell you what, if you order a tub, I promise you it will be the heaviest tub of paint that you have picked up for the last decade.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when it turned up. I was like, what is this? Have you heard the thinning ratios for it?
No.
No.
Okay, so probably a good way to explain how heavy this stuff is. So to spray Juno J33, they recommend that you add 4 litres of water to a 15-litre tub.
Oh, fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
4
what's
litres
that?
of
Not then,
water.
right, innit?
That's
When have you
what
ever
that-
put that much
No,
water
you
to a
don't, do
paint?
you? It doesn't get done.
And it still retains like class 1 opacity at that
Mate,
thinning
that's
level.
really good though, innit?
So, mate, it's unbelievable. And I've sprayed it, I've brushed and rolled it. I wouldn't endorse it if I didn't back it. It's brilliant stuff.
I'm gonna
And then on top of that,
give this
the
a
other-
try.
Again, that's
Mate,
what
you've
me and
gotta-
Sean have said from day one, because we've always
Yeah.
done it anyway, but we're only going to help promote products that we genuinely like, that we genuinely
Give it a
do
try.
think-
See what you think.
Yep.
I've recommended it to a few people. Not one person has had a bad word to say about it yet.
Yeah.
And that's just the J33. They do Juno Prof as well, which is their
I've
equivalent
seen
of
that,
like
yeah.
Jono's cleanable mat. And again, mate, the opacity. I had it mixed in black. And I went over white, mate. It was one coat coverage. It was insane.
Fucking hell.
Can I just interrupt a sec? I've always called it opacity.
Opacity. Opacity.
Fuck off.
I'm not even getting involved in slugging off anybody's
Opacity.
language differences because I've got
Opacity.
the worst language ever. So I'm going to sit here quietly for a time.
I don't know, Baz. I mean, you might be right, mate. I've just always called it opacity, but that could be me being
The way
brummie.
you say it sounds better. I'm not arguing. I'm agreeing.
Anyway, lads, I was trying to get in to promote the GFA awards then, and somehow I've ended up promoting Juno paints.
Innit, yeah.
There we go.
We are going to come on to your. We've got questions here, but we do come on to the golden finish, so there will be an opportunity.
I'll
right
leave
at the
it. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to
And-
you. You can ask whatever
and-
questions you want.
Yeah.
You'll be-
Anything you don't answer, you can add in. You can.
No, we're all good, mate. I should be all right. I'll get shot by the others if I get it wrong, but you know.
But no, the GFA awards, really good idea. Absolutely fantastic idea.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're really excited. Really excited. It comes back to that trying to get people to be proud, have something to celebrate, you know, and to raise the image of the industry as a whole, you know, celebrate people's achievements and exceptional work.
Yeah. Right. So I'm just going to run to question 1, and
Ooh.
let's crack on. So let's start at the beginning. What was your upbringing like, and how did the trade first enter your life?
So I like to say, mate, people ask me how I got into being a painter and decorator. I often say I was born with a paintbrush in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm a 3rd generation painter and decorator. My son works in the business now, so he's 4th generation. My granddad set the business up back in the 60s. My dad was also a painter and decorator. So as I said, I touched on a little bit earlier. So without going into like family history too deeply, my mum and dad split up when I was 8 years old, and I did something that was probably a bit different. I stayed with my dad. And what that meant for me was he was a working man. He couldn't afford to have time off. So all the summer holidays, Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, I had to go to work with him because he was still working. Now, he didn't make me work. It wasn't like slave labor, but this is back in the days, mate. That there was no iPads, there was no phones, there was no nothing like that. So my options were: you can either go down the local post office and grab some magazines to last you the day, or I'll pay you. And he was like, you know, I'll pay you a £5 if you work and strip a bit of wallpaper or do this, that, and the other. You know, the first few days I probably did go and get the magazines, but after a bit I thought, do you know what, I'll have a £5 and then I can go and get myself some football stickers at the end of the day or whatever it was. And that was literally where my journey into decorating started, probably going to it with him at 8. By the time I was 15, I was running jobs for him in the summer. So I remember doing a big job where he had a commercial job on a hotel exterior, and my dad, as good of a painter that he wasn't really interested in the business side of it.
Yeah.
I've always been driven by that side of it. So I ended up running the contract for him, as I say, at 15 years old. And then we got to 17. Me and my dad had a big fallout, like very big, like personal family stuff. We never spoke for 8 years after that. I left school after I did all right at school, you know. You normally get the story of like, oh, didn't do very well at school, blah, blah, blah. I did okay. I just hated being told what to do. And when I left school, I was determined, because I'd fallen out with my dad. I was determined the last thing in the world I was going to be was a painter and decorator. So I went and did agency work to earn some money. I took on all the heavy lifting jobs because they paid better. And I was doing that for about a year. And my granddad at the time, who was still working, because my grandfather who set the business up was actually on my mum's side, not my dad's. So it was my
Right.
mum's dad, right? And I'd gone over for dinner with my nan and granddad one day, and my granddad sat down. He's like, Russ, what are you doing? Like, you've got the skills to do a trade. Why are you working in factories? Why don't you? And I was like, well, I don't want to be a decorator. He went, yeah, I know that. But you can earn more while you're deciding what to do. You also don't want to work in a factory, but you're doing that. And I was like, oh, do you know what? You're right. So he said to me at the time, look, I'm winding down and retiring. You're coming up. So we'll just sort of like counterbalance that out. So I decided I'd go and earn some money working in the P&D industry when I was 17. Took over the business, or an arm of the business of my own. And here I am 24 years later. So it was one of those, I never wanted to do it as such to begin with, but I do love the trade, in fairness. I enjoy the trade. I love it. Once I got into the combination of running a business and doing the trade, that ticked a box for me.
Yeah.
When I was working for my dad, and it was just, it was like working for a company, being on the books,
Yeah.
that it wasn't enough to engage me.
Yeah.
And that was how I got into the trade. Yeah, it was essentially, long story, but a family business.
But see, being a third generation painter myself, again, same thing. My grandfather was a painter and decorator, and my dad still to this day is a painter and decorator. See, obviously, you don't need to get into any personal fallout details or all like that, but how was actually working with not just your dad, but working with your grandfather? Like, how did you find it? Was there clashes, or because you got left to deal with your own jobs, do you think the clashes were less because you were given that responsibility?
I'm open. To be fair, Sean, I'm open about everything that I've gone through. I will talk about it, but I just didn't want to roll on for hours talking about that subject on your podcast. But no, to be honest with you, mate, when I was young and I worked for my dad, or with my dad, we got on fine.
Right.
There was always, I remember there's certain memories. And I remember there being a bit of a light bulb moment. We were doing a job, me and my dad. I was probably 14, 15. And I remember, because my dad's background, he actually used to be an accountant. And we were sat on a job, and my dad was like, he was still in that, I guess, that mindset of being employed. So my dad would have like 15-minute break at 10 o'clock, half an hour at 12 o'clock, 15-minute break at 2 o'clock. And I remember the one lunchtime sitting in the van with my dad and thinking, if we get this job done today, we can start that next job early. So let's crack on and get it done. And I remember sitting in the van, having my dinner. It was maybe like 12:15 and going, right, should we crack on then? And I remember my dad looking at his watch and going, well, I've got 15 minutes yet. And I went, who's 15 minutes? Like, what you on about? You work for yourself. It's your business.
Yeah.
What are you talking about 15 minutes? But that was the difference between me and my dad, whereas I was like, right, let's go, but let's plan this, but blah, blah, blah. My dad, and he openly said to me, he's like, look, because he ended up working for me. He just went, tell me where to go, what to do, what time to be there. That's all he wanted from it. So we actually, at work, we got on fine. At home was where the issues were. And my granddad, so when I started working, when I sort of went on my own at 17, mate, honestly, I am so grateful for the years I spent with him, because when I fell out with my dad, my granddad stepped into that role. He was an absolute salt of the earth. Like, I've so much love for the guy. I miss him every day. But I'm so grateful that I got to work with him and have a different relationship than like grandfather, grandson. It became like we were best mates. Again, got on really well. There were times when I was younger that he used to push me and it used to piss me off. But now I'm looking back, when I'm on my age now, I can see everything that he was doing, because I do it with my son now. So it's, he pushed me all the time, pushed me to be better, pushed me to be better.
Pushing you to be a better decorator, exactly. Do you find that you push your, do you find that you're quite hard on your own son? Obviously, you'll have a good relationship because you've been brought up to have good relationships, but do you think, even though you've got a good relationship, it's important that at work to be like quite hard on him, because you expect him to become a good tradesman as well?
100%, Sean. when Alfie, my son, came into the business, I had a conversation with him, and I believe this is the right way. And I basically said to him, look, if you want to do an apprenticeship with me, that's your favour as me being your father. I'm giving you the job. That's
Yeah.
where it ends.
Yeah.
So the minute we walk out the door in the morning, you're my apprentice.
Yeah.
When we get home at night, I'm your dad. Like, there's no crossover. Don't bring, and it, don't get me wrong, it makes it sound easy. It's not that easy every day,
No,
but don't
trust
bring
me, I've
work
been there
home.
with you. I've been
Yeah.
there and done that.
I mean, we're getting there, mate. We butt heads now and again, but by and large, I'm hoping he can't hear me now, but he's already turning into a really good decorator. He's been with me over 18 months now. I am pushing him to be as good as he can and be at the top end of things. But that was how I was taught. So, yeah, it's like I say, looking back to when I worked with my granddad, I now see all the areas he was pushing me in and how he was doing it.
Yeah.
I was really privileged, to be honest, lads, because I had two old-fashioned apprenticeships, one with my father, one with my grandfather, and they worked totally differently to each other. My granddad was a businessman, a very good decorator, but a businessman. So he was the one that told me about, business and profit and how you can earn more here, there, and everywhere, working commercial jobs, taking lads on, all that kind of stuff. That was my granddad. My dad was a very good painter and decorator. I was really privileged to do my education with a pair of them.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've only been taught through my apprenticeship, so I didn't have family. Like, I'm not a generational decorator. So I would have liked to experience that, even if we butt heads and whatever. But I like to think, because I've got two lads, so I like to think at least one of them will come and work with me, and I can teach them everything and go through, basically going through the process of what you're going through at the minute.
But just think, Baz, like, I'm a big believer in, like, fate, and history repeats itself, and you see it in loads of times. If you look back at your family, what's the chances 100 years down the line that one of your grandsons even is sitting on a podcast and they're sitting saying, "Oh, well, my grandfather was a decorator. I'm a third generation decorator because one of your sons has grown up and done it." It's like you're saying, we've had this maybe bit of experience. Doesn't mean we're better decorators because we've had this bit of experience. Ken, so you're the probably the beginning of, like, how many folk at what age are you? 33?
30.
Oh, you're 30. How many folk at 30 are all who started up their own business and successful business, by the way?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think as well.
To be fair, Baz, what you'll probably find, mate, will be that your sons will probably tell you they don't want to go in the. My son did. My son said exactly to me what I said to my dad, which is, I'm not going to be a decorator. And he had to go and do his own thing for a little bit, try a different thing, try a different path. And that's how Alfie ended up working for me. Was he actually did a first year? He wanted to be an electrician, like. But yeah. He wanted to be a Sparky, and he went and did a year. What I've got to say is that the colleges, mate, at the minute in the construction industry are so bad. And it was enough to put him off. And we were on holiday, and he was complaining about college, saying he didn't really want to go and do his second year because it was such a absolute mess, the course. He passed his test, he could have gone and done it, but he really didn't enjoy his time at college. And that was another one where I said, well, look, when we get back off holiday, mate, come and work with me for the rest of the summer holidays, like 6 to 8 weeks. You don't have to decide anything. At the end of that time, let me know if you want to carry it on. And if you do, we'll do an apprenticeship. And that's how it got going. So, yeah, just be prepared, Baz, that your lads might say they don't want to do it, but the reality is...
Do you know what my oldest is 12, and he'll come to work with me every now and then, and he enjoys it. Do you know what I mean? He does enjoy coming, but he's only doing obviously like basic stuff. If he was coming working with me full time, because I fell in love with it straight away as soon as, because I started off in college and then I got my apprenticeship. So I started off, and my tutor at the time, first time I saw him fucking cutting a perfect straight line, I was hooked. I was like, what the
Really?
That is how I want to be. I want to be that good, and I've always tried to push myself. And I don't know if you two are the same. Like sometimes you do work where it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but then you go back and you go, oh, I kind of wish like I could have done this better, or I could have done.
Always.
Yeah.
Even though there's
Mate,
literally nothing, even though there's literally nothing wrong with it at all, you still got. Oh, I could have done that a bit better.
I'm rarely satisfied with my work. The customers are delighted. Everything looks perfect. I always come away or always look at something and think, I wish I'd done that better. I wish I'd
Yeah.
spent more time on that. And the room
But
could be absolutely immaculate.
But that's
But I
good
always,
because that just shows that you're taking pride in your work and you want to improve. You want to be the best
actually
of the
don't-
best.
I
Where
don't
there's
feel
some
like
people where they'll
100%.
just fucking go fuck off. Let's get paid. See you in a bit.
I actually don't feel like 100% perfection exists.
No.
There's always something you could do better.
Mate, to be honest, Sean, I have this conversation with customers because I think over the last few years with the rise of social media, I've had customers literally say to me, we're looking for perfection. And I will always counter that and say, well, it's not possible. I will do for you the best humanly possible with emphasis on the humanly, because perfection is not possible. You'd
No.
have
At the end of the
to,
day,
for
we're
us
not
to achieve
robots.
perfection. Yeah, but for us to achieve perfection, you've got to have had perfection from every other trade
Yeah.
prior to us. The
Exactly.
plastering's got to be perfect. The carpentry's got to be
Yep.
perfect. And the reality is that's not happening. So,
I think I watched one of your podcasts where you had spoke about this. I mean, me and Baz are both fans of your podcast. I particularly like the decorators
thank you, lads.
on the podcast. So I love watching the decorator episodes. I love Joanne's episode and that. But I think it was maybe Joanne's episode that you mentioned it where you said that basically I kind of on that where when customers were looking at perfection, you can give them like a B, or it wasn't A, B, or C, but it was like I can give you like I can spend as
give you
much
this
time as you
option, this
want me to spend on that job doing it that, but it'll cost you a lot of money. And then obviously I
Yep.
can make it look great to my standards, and it'll still cost you a lot of money, but it'll not cost you as much. And then you can get like a slapdash job, but you can get it looking nice. Ken,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was you that said it or one of your guests that said it, but I remember it being said on one of the episodes anyway, Ken.
Yeah. I've said it, mate, and I've said to customers directly where I've actually said to them, look, the vibe I'm picking up here is you are looking for like as good as like humanly possible, and if that's going to be the case, it'll have to be day rate work. And you could be looking. I had this conversation with a customer. I said, look, you could easily end up spending £4,000 to £5,000 per room. And their face then was like, oh, no chance. I'm like, well, realistically, if you're going around with inspection lights and you're picking up the smallest imperfections, I could easily spend that amount of time in a room. You could end up, it sounds extreme, but you could end up spending 2-3 days just getting a door frame right.
Yeah.
And realistically, and that's a conversation I then have with the customer. Do you really want to pay that?
Yeah. Well, I think it's like, I don't know if you two get it much, but I've had it a few times where they go, oh, I'm OCD.
Yeah.
And you're like, OCD doesn't make me a robot. Like, it's going to be as good as it's going to possibly be. You're not going to get any better than that.
It's bizarre, mate, isn't it? Because I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the customers I've had them where they do come in with an inspection light, or they get their phone out and they put the torch on and they start. And I'll always say, I've said on a couple of occasions, do you think you'll do that when you're living in the room? Would you normally walk into Would you normally walk into your lounge, get your phone out, and start checking the door frame? Like, no, you're just going to walk through it.
There's one of the things, I forget what the things are, but it's like a triangle. You can only ever have two of the three things.
Oh,
it's
right,
like
yeah.
you can have it quick,
good,
you can
quick,
have it
and
Yeah.
cheap.
good, quick, and cheap. That's it. You can only ever have two. So if you want it good and quick, it'll not be cheap. If you want it, or some, I don't know.
If you want it good and cheap, it'll not be quick. If you want it, it'll keep.
Aye.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it really, that does apply.
So you mentioned about your getting into business for your grandfather and the kind of counterbalance. So was that?
Mm.
Did you eventually take over your grandfather's business, their family business, or did you start up yourself?
I started, to be honest, Sean, I started up myself straight away. So that was 2001. So the conversation that I
Right.
had with my granddad at the time, he basically said to me, Russ, I'm retiring. I want to go and spend half the year in Spain. But while I'm retiring, basically, because he always said to me, set yourself up in business. And then when you get jobs in, I'll come and work on them with you. But I will present it to the customer that I'm working for you to try and give you, because at the end of the day, lads, I was 17. I mean, I've always looked a bit older than I was. I was always quite big for my age. But I was 17. And that was one of the
He's only
reasons. So
21
I did
now.
my apprenticeships. Exactly. But I did go and do like a City and Guilds as well, just so I had the certificate to take to a customer and be like, look, I'm qualified.
Yeah.
Never showed it to anyone once.
Yeah.
But no, I set my own business up, mate, and that was how it worked. So I'd get a job in. Some jobs, I would just be like, now I'm sound, I can do this. And other jobs, I'll be like, oh, I've got William Morris wallpaper to hang. It's £80 a roll, which back in 2001 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, can you just... And he would always come along and he'd be like, I'm not doing it for you, but I'll be here with you while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was how it went on. And then once it progressed to the point where I was fully fledged and capable, he then just went, look, I'll work for you. And my granddad, bless him, he retired on me 4 times, I think.
Right.
And he'd retire, he'd spend a few months with my nan, and my nan, absolutely lovely lady, bless her soul. But I remember him ringing me up the once. He went, Russ, it always started this way. You got much on? Yeah. You find a few days for me? Yeah, of course. Why? He was like, he said, mate, we're going shopping twice a week down to Morrison's for myself, for us, because your nan don't want to do big shops. We're now doing your auntie's shopping and your mum's shopping to save them time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Morrison's 4 times a week. I might as well be at work. And he'd come back out of retirement.
I'm picturing Marlon Brando in The Godfather. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in.
Yeah. But he did, mate. I mean, my granddad, like, to illustrate the guy, he used to have hobbies that he'd just out the blue, quite impulsive. I'd go round. I used to go round regular for dinner. I'd go round, and all of a sudden there'd be like a boat on the drive. What are you doing? Oh, I've bought a boat. I'm just gonna go and stick it on the lake. I'm gonna get into sailing. And then the next week he'd have bought a motorbike, and then it was caravans, and it was always something like. But he was always very fit, very healthy, right up until we lost him. But like, he was riding a motorbike at 77.
Yeah.
He used to go out on road bikes and do 20-30 miles a day, 3 times a week. So yeah, he was always. But it was money for his toys then. So when he was coming to work with me, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to do a few months because then I can buy a motorbike.
Yeah.
or it was for holidays or whatever it might be. But
Do you know what?
it was, honestly, mate, so grateful I had that time.
I bet going out working with you as well helped him mentally, rather than being stuck in.
No doubt.
He's out with his grandson, or do you know what I mean? He's doing bits, he's doing that.
And it's the pride in that too. And it's like, they're only ever proud of you, your grandparents and even your parents, like that. When they see you doing well, there's no envy, there's no jealousy that you get with other decorators or other facets in life. They're only ever looking at you thinking, he's going home to your grandmother and he's going, God, our Russ is doing well for himself. You want to see the job we were on the day, and he's to you, he's doing it for 600 quid at the end of a few days' work. To him, he's doing it just because he wants to come out and spend some time with you and see how well you're doing, really, in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Sean? It's in life, I think you don't really experience unconditional love very often.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, most love has got a condition to it. Like, the love between me and my wife, there's a condition there. There's a there's a condition that I treat her well, that I'm faithful. All of that's a condition. with my grandparents and my nan and grand, I swear to God, if I'd have gone home one day to my nan and be like, Nan, you need to hide me. I'm on the run. I've murdered 20 people. She'd have turned around and
She'd
be
be
like,
yeah,
well,
go on,
they,
Russ, you go up.
mate. Not only would she have said, yes, I'll hide you, she'd have turned around and said, well, it must have been their fault. Do you know what I mean? It was
Hiding your
just
granddad's caravan.
unconditional.
Hiding your granddad's caravan.
That's it.
So
But it's like I say, mate, I'm very, very happy that I got to experience that. There's been a few
100%.
people in my life, but I think it's very fucking rare, to be honest.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
It is like that was one of the things because I never went straight into decorating when I left the school either. I went and then I was kind of the opposite. Well, no, I didn't want to be a decorator, but my dad always told me, don't become a decorator. There's no money in decorating, and there wasn't back then years ago. And in the 2008 recession, I got paid off and ended up getting into decorating. But my grandfather, he died before I became a decorator, and he was a brilliant decorator in my local area. Had a very good reputation, a master at paper hanging. Kenny would have been so proud of me, but he never ever got to see me. He never got to see me becoming a decorator, and he never got to see me becoming a dad.
Yeah.
And I know that I regret it, but I just wish I had.
It would have been nice for him to see it
straight after school, Ken.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lesson to be learned there for anybody watching or listening, that if something's in your head, don't rest on your laurels. And I think if you've got the impulse to pick up the phone and message somebody, you want to do something, you want to travel to some part of the world, you only get one life. Just fucking go on and date.
Yeah.
Ken, it's like how many times you heard of somebody saying, "Oh, I wish I'd done that when I was younger," or "I wish I'd done that 10 years ago," and literally there's no guarantee you're going to be here another 10 years or all. So I think I try and leave my life more like that nowadays. I try and do things when it comes to me. Going away on a city break or going on holiday or buy a sprayer or a dustless sander when I want it. I might not be the richest painter and decorator in the world, but I'll be fucking the happiest in my area.
And that's all that matters, isn't it? Your happiness. No one else is thinking about it.
Do you know what, Sean? I came to the conclusion maybe 6-7 years ago now. I don't even remember what sparked it, but I wrote myself like a law for living almost. And it was that if some opportunity comes my way and it makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
You
it.
don't,
You
you don't
up
come
to
to
the Decorators Den
hiding
Podcast.
with fear.
Exactly. But you know what? Like, as daft as it sounds, I know you guys have seen me on my podcast. The imposter syndrome when I started that was huge.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm quite comfortable on podcasts now, but I never used to be.
Yeah.
Like even my own, I remember the very first episode of the Talking Tradesman I did was with James Reeve from Royal Spa. Brilliant bloke. I need to do a catch up with him actually. But it was the first episode I ever did with him, and I'd gone through this period of having to refurb this office that we'd got that we were going to do the podcast in. So everything was 100 miles an hour. I hadn't really thought about what I was doing.
Yeah.
And he was on his way over to the studio and I was still setting it up for the first time. And he messaged me. He was like, "All right, mate, I'm just leaving. I'm like 45 minutes away." And it just hit me like a truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing? Like, who am I to be doing this?
Yeah,
He's going to come over and talk to me and open up. Like, who am I? Massive imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
To the point I flushed red. I was panicking. Mate, I kid you not. It's not even,
panicking.
it's like
He's gonna lose
like a
his
story,
podcast.
but I had to go to the bathroom, splash cold water on my face. And then I was sat there thinking, I hope he doesn't notice when he gets here that I'm in like, you know what I mean? I'm in a tease, as it were. And we sat down, we recorded, and afterwards I said to James, I went, "Mate, I was so nervous." And he went, "Oh, couldn't tell." It's like, right, okay. And I had that on and off, I kid you not, for the first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I would mad nervous for the first few. Then I started to feel a bit better. Then I'd get halfway through an episode and be like, "Oh my God, what am I doing here? Have I done that wrong? Have I overspoken? Have I left too much of a pause? Have I fumbled my words?" And then I'd start to panic again. And it, like I say, easily the first 10 episodes, I was mad nervous, huge imposter syndrome.
Yeah, well, again, it's like you're like you was on about, just you're digging into people's lives, but then you think, like, who the fuck am I to even be getting into people's lives? What, like, why am I doing that?
Absolutely.
But in your mind, you're thinking, I want to spread the word. Do you know what I mean? I want to help people. I want to do this. This is my goal.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is. But then, like you were saying before, when reality hits, and you're like, fuck, like what am I actually doing? But
But I'm
just
so
think, if
glad you did
if you
start the
hadn't have done
podcast up because
episode 1 and you'd have left it, you wouldn't be where you are now. So
exactly,
No,
and
100%.
I think like you watch some of the episodes and you see what other people he went through, and obviously all three of us are pals with James Young, Dragonfly.
Yeah, great bloke.
Dragonfly, give a shout out to wee Dragonfly with sticker there. And his, we've been pals with James for a while, right? But watching his episode on your podcast now, it wasn't just a paint and decorator. To hear the harrowing story of what James went through, and we've
yeah,
spoken about it a few times, as well as we've had James on with us as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think the amount of people that would have been helped by James's podcast with the addiction issues and with what he went through, and became a brilliant person and a brilliant painter, decorator, business owner. I think like the amount of people that'll he help, because he's been brave enough, by the way, to sit there and speak about his story.
yeah,
And a lot of people will be watching that thinking, well, if he can become the person that he's became, why am I sitting here feeling sorry for myself when
yeah.
I've had maybe something no as bad happening to me, or something similar
Yeah.
even, Ken?
Well, I think even if you help 1 out of 100 people,
You've still helped
you've done your
somebody.
job. You've done all right.
That was all it was forever for. All it was ever about, lads, is when I started that. I mean, when I started it, for starters, it was just a passion project.
Yeah.
Mate, I didn't think it was going to do what it's done.
Yeah,
No
Yeah.
way. I thought to myself, it was just a passion project, an idea that I ran with. Didn't really think about it too much, and I thought maybe it'll last 6 months, and maybe I'll do 1 episode a month. Was what I thought, because I thought it was going to be a real struggle to get people in to open up.
yeah,
And the opposite was true. It's been, I think I got to about 80 odd episodes without ever having to ask anyone to come on the podcast. It's just been exceptional. But that thing of just helping 1, that was all the mission ever started on.
yeah,
I mean, I'm really proud to say that some of the messages I get are beautiful, mate. But
yeah,
going back to what you guys were saying about how it's gone, I think the reality is that people believed in me and the podcast way before I did.
yeah,
It took
Yeah.
me quite a long time to actually believe in myself and what I was doing.
yeah.
There's a lot of self-doubt,
I feel like when you're doing something yourself, you're blind to what you're actually achieving at that time. But the people watching you succeed can see exactly what you're achieving, but you're quite blind to what you're achieving at the time. And it's like now, like my decorating business is really good, and it was only about 6 months ago where I went to do a quote for someone I went to school with, and he said another lad had recommended me to him, but then he'd also recommended me from this other person. And once I followed that line, I was like, that's about 15 people that has just been recommend, like 15 people in a row, and you don't realise how much you're actually achieving and what kind of difference you're making until someone points it out to you.
Yep.
Yeah, and even then, to be honest, mate, even then it's hard
even then you can.
it's hard to believe,
Yeah.
So see your paint and decorating business. What's the most rewarding part you've had since you've started up in yourself? Just the decorating stuff.
Rewarding in what way, Sean?
Just in like, obviously we can take into account your social media stuff like that, but building your business up, like, do you feel like you've your clientele who over the years have built it up is, or the social media side, or even something simple like bringing your son on board with you? Is that like?
Yeah. It's a good question. It's a good question. It's got me thinking, really. I would say so. My business journey has been. I've kind of tried a lot of different things. I've worked in most demographics within our industry. I've done heavily commercial. I used to do like insurance contracting. I worked all over the country. We did national work. I had a team of lads that were working all over the country. So we were doing jobs, and I was having to manage all that, and I was still on the tools. The biggest I've ever got, there were 7 of us. So I was what I would refer to as like a big small company, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of rewarding, I've enjoyed all of it, mate. When I've set a goal, which has either been like, right, I want to do commercial now, I want to do this now, and I've got there. I've naturally, I think over the last 5-6 years, I've found a home in high-end domestic because I've kind of reevaluated my own values a little bit in terms of it's not just all about what money I can earn. I actually have to enjoy what I'm doing, the work I'm doing, and I enjoy doing high-end work.
You enjoy the high-end stuff.
I enjoy the high-end stuff, mate. I enjoy, like, for me now, Sean, like I do specialist wallpaper installation stuff. I love that. I love complex wallpapering jobs or big murals and things that get my brain working. But yeah, I enjoy the high-end stuff just because it's those kind of jobs that you can turn around, stand back and go, wow, that looks mint.
Yeah.
But potentially, mate, I mean, it's still early days, but I would imagine once my son takes the reins of the business, that will be my biggest achievement.
Yeah.
And is that kind of end goal for you? You want to basically build it up to? Have you still got 7, or have you reined it back?
No. So my story with that, mate. So when I had 7 on, it was right when COVID hit.
Right.
Yeah. So we were doing big scale domestic and commercial.
Right.
And then I'd got 3 teams of 2 that were doing, again, we were still working in the high end demographic. I'd got 3 teams of 2 and I was basically running it. I wasn't doing a fat lot of work then because I was just going around all the jobs. And there was a time, mate, until COVID hit, which gave me the chance to pull my head up out the sand. I thought everything was going well. It was going well, mate. I was earning really good money, but I was doing stuff like I'd have 3 teams on the go. I'd work. The problem I had was all the customers wanted me on the job. So they all wanted to think I was doing the work. So I remember one stage where I got lads on 3 different jobs and I would go to one job in the morning because I knew that job was, the customer was in first thing, would see me at like 8, half 8, then they'd go to work for the day.
Yeah.
So then I'd go over to the next job where the customer was in all day, spend a good chunk of the day there, and then go over to the 3rd job where I knew the customer would be back at 4 o'clock to make it look like I was on all 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And you end up spreading yourself too thin. You try to do too much and you get burned out.
I was, it's a good lesson, mate, because I was doing 14-hour days every day. I was living just outside Worcester city centre, right? So personal life kind of things. I'd gone through a divorce, sold my house. We'd probably about 3 years later, new relationship. And me and Angie, who I'm now married to, like we were renting a house in Worcester just outside the city centre. Took on the lease on this house. We were only there just over 6 months because I hated the house. But we moved in and I kid you not, we didn't use the kitchen once. I didn't cook a single meal because every night I was getting home at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. It was lethal because Just Eat, you could get anything, mate, because we were right in the city. So I could get like a steak dinner delivered on a takeaway. It was crazy. And I remember looking at my bank statement at the end of one of the months and going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I was earning it in one hand and just spending it in another.
Yeah.
But to me, I was thinking, oh, look at all this money I'm earning. But I was no better off.
Yeah, because it was just going straight back out, wasn't it?
But I had no life, mate.
Yeah.
And then obviously 2020 came along, COVID hit. I'd still got all the lads on. At the time, I think 2 or 3 of them basically rung me up and like, Russ, we don't know what this is. We don't know what's going on. And they'd got partners or parents that were really on the sort of like at-risk list. They
Vulnerable.
were like, look, we're going to go off work. And then I had a couple of jobs cancel, and it dropped it down to, I think there was me, my dad at the time, I think, and one of the other lads. So there were three of us, and I had a couple of empty houses to do. So we just dropped onto them. But I had probably 6 to 8 weeks of doing that work where I then picked my head up and I was like, oh my God, like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I was so much happier. I'd got a life balance again. Yes, I
Yep.
was earning a bit less, but I was still earning good money.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a bit of a personal lesson for me. So now there's me and my son full time, and then I've got a couple of good lads that are subbies that, as and when the big jobs come in, they'll drop on for me with a bit of
You can
notice.
bring them in. Yep.
So
Yeah.
what would you say like the hardest lesson you've learnt is? Like within running your business, your decorating business,
Yeah.
throughout your career, what would you say the hardest lesson you've had to learn is?
I'm sure there'll still be a few more, Baz, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've learned lots of lessons, mate. I think the biggest lesson I would say to learn is a simple one, which is to say no.
Yeah.
When I started business, I was of that generation, and my granddad, in fairness to him, always used to say to me, it was like, look, you never know when the next job's coming in, you never know what's round the corner. Basically, if a job comes in, a quote comes in, you quote it. If they accept the work, that's it. That's the contract. That's the way it goes. They ask you to quote. The customer says yes, you do that job. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is to pick my customers, which is when I go to a quote and they're waving red flags at me everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a
Listen.
big no, big C.
Yeah, if somebody's showing you that they're going to be a red flag customer, pay attention and just say no. Decline the quote, decline the opportunity. And that's all. I will always be polite, but if a customer I've gone to quote and I've thought, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare, and they accept a quote if I put the quote in, or even if I don't go as far as that, I might just email them back and say, look, on reflection, I don't think that works for me. I'm going to, decline the opportunity to do the work for you in this circumstance. That's it. You don't need to give any more of an excuse. You don't need to justify it.
I still think I struggle with that's probably a leaf that I should take out of your book, to be fair. Like, I find I learned pretty fast when I started up my own business that don't drop your price for anybody. Your price is your price.
Yeah.
Don't try and. I used to try and like win jobs and then think to myself, oh, I'd be really gutted because somebody came back and said, oh, we managed to get somebody cheaper, and then I know that I would end up dropping my price. But then what I learned was you're better off try to appease people like that. You're better be like, that's fine, just get somebody cheaper to do it. But I really still struggle to just say no to people. You go and see the job, and like you say, they're waving the red flags, and or the job itself, you don't like the look at. You know that their expectations are too high for the type of house or
for the type
project
of price
they're on.
that they want to pay.
And I feel like I can't just say no. I struggle with that, so it's probably a good bit of advice even for me. Like,
if you had a phone call, Sean, and a client rung you up and said, Sean, we want you to come and quote. We're getting 3 quotes, and if you're the cheapest, you'll win the work. Would you go and do it?
No. My argument to that is always, when somebody looks at the cheapest quote, I always say to somebody like, right, so you're going to say Sainsbury's for a bottle of red wine. Do you walk into Sainsbury's and you walk along the wine rack and say, the wine aisle and say, oh, there's the cheapest bottle, I'll buy that? You don't. You buy the bottle that you like, don't you? Or anything. You don't need to buy wine, by the way, if anybody's non-alcoholic out there. But that's my knowledge that I got. You don't go to, when you go away on holiday to Mallorca, you don't go for the cheapest holiday. You don't go for the cheapest bottle of wine. You don't go to fucking Nick's and buy the cheapest clothes. So why are you picking the cheapest decorator?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I think that was a lesson for me that a good few years ago now. I used to be like similar to Sean, where I would find myself competitive because I'd be like, well, if I don't quote this job and drop my price, I'll have no work that week. But then you have to get into the mindset of the work will come in. I think when you
And it
first
does.
when you first set up, I think you do worry that you're not going to get the work,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, all right then, I'll drop 300 quid. Oh, no, like, and then once you've been doing it for a bit on your own, you just say
Yeah.
fuck it, and you just go, right, that is it.
Mate,
Like, I'm not.
the thing is, like, we're all human. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons, and like I say, the biggest one to say no to a bad customer. But in fairness, I still fall. Like, I'll give you an example. This was maybe 4 years ago now. So I was still
Yeah.
been in business a good long time, and I went to do a quote, and I met the husband, husband and wife, and I met the husband. He was sound, like, got on fine. But there were some red flags, right? I went to this, it was a beautiful house, but they weren't living there, they were living somewhere else. And when I got there, I was just getting a vibe. I was speaking to the husband, and he was like, oh yeah, because we had a carpenter and he walked off the job, and then we had this and they walked off the job, and we did have the decorating started, but we had to get rid of the decorator because he just wasn't very good, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, took me up to show me a room that had been finished, that they wanted refinishing. And if I'm honest, I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I could do a lot better than that.
Yeah.
So I took his point and I was like, okay, yeah, I understand. I can refinish this. But there were a few. He made a comment as well about, wow, and he thought he was going to get paid, and obviously we haven't paid him. So, okay. So that was like day one. So I've put a quote in. It was a big job, mate. I'm talking 25, 30 grand's worth of quote.
Yeah.
Put this quote in and they accepted. Then I've gone down to the job and the wife was there, and different vibe from her. And she was talking about the same thing. She used the word perfection.
Yeah.
I'm like, right. So I had that whole, I am looking for perfection. Right. Had that whole conversation, and we kind of, it kind of settled it. It was okay. Anyway, long story short, I was probably been there a few days, and one of the builders was there, and he went, oh, another one. I was like, another what? He went, mate, you're the fourth.
Fucking
I was
hell.
like, I'm the what? He was like, you're the fourth decorator. I was like, oh, Christ. Mate, at that point, I should have called it a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the alarm bells were ringing, the red flags were waving.
Yeah.
But again, my ego got me into the point where I thought, well, they might have got rid of 4, but they haven't had me yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, innit?
I thought, I can do this. And the kind of customer, this is how bad it was, mate. So we finished the master bedroom and ensuite, beautiful room. And me and Alfie, we spent 2 entire days just sanding. So we had the Plane X. We took out 2 entire bags of filler dust, refinished it, sanded it all back. And in my opinion, it looked mint. Anyway, we finished the room, put the invoice in, got paid, in fairness. And about 3-4 days after getting paid, I get a message from the customer saying, Russ, I've noticed a few snags. Would you mind coming back? And I was like, right, okay. Everyone's human. Maybe I have missed something, or maybe there's something wrong. And this is how it went when I went back. We went into the room and walked in, and I went, right, okay, do you want to point out what the problem is? She said, well, the thing is, you can't actually see it. And I was like, right. I said, well, is it when you put the lights on? And I went to flick the lights on. She went, no, you can't see it with the lights on. I was like, right, okay. And I looked at her and she went, you're going to think I'm crazy. I was like, well, I'm getting there. And she basically said, she went, so at about 7 o'clock, when the sun comes down and shines through that window, it bounces off that bit of ceiling there, and there's a slight imperfection in the plaster. You couldn't see it under inspection light.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it under natural light or artificial light. But apparently at exactly 7 o'clock, this imperfection was visible. And I just started laughing. And she went, can you do anything about it? And I said, well, the first thing is, you've said it's an imperfection in the plaster. Did I do the plastering? And she went, well, no. I said, well, is there anything wrong with the application of the paint? No. I said, right. So it's a plasterer's problem, really, isn't it? And she went, well, but as you're the decorator, really, you should take care of that. And I went, well, one, we're never here at 7 o'clock. And apparently it's invisible at all other times of day.
Yeah.
But, mate, this was the level that I was dealing with. Now, what you guys are thinking is, at this point, surely he left the job.
Oh, shit.
Go on.
No,
No,
I
did you
didn't leave.
No.
Right. we'd been paid, so I had this whole conversation where I was like, "Look, this is unreasonable. We've quoted. It's an itemised quote. I've done exactly what's on the quote. Blah blah blah." The husband got involved. It all got kind of levelled out, and we ended up. We did the whole of the upstairs of this property, and it was some of the worst time of my decorating life. I would go in every morning to post-it notes everywhere. And the post-it, I kid you not, a lot of the time I could not make out what she was looking at. And she would come round at the end of the day and put post-it notes on the wall. And I would say to her at the time, "Oh, do you want to show me what that is?" She went, "I shouldn't have to show you."
Right, fuck's sake. What a nightmare.
Right. And in the end, I said to her, I said, "Look, you're putting post-it notes on the wall and I physically cannot see anything wrong. I've got inspection lights, I'm looking, I just can't see anything." And she went, "Oh, well, I'll start writing it on the note then." So she then she wouldn't tell me verbally, she had to write it on the post-it note what the problem was. And even then, some of the times I couldn't see it. And I'd say, "Look, I just can't see anything." She'd go, "Oh, I'll just take that one off then." And when I say post-it notes, lads, I'm talking like 10 to 15 post-it notes in a room,
Fucking hell.
most of which I
Do you know
couldn't
why?
even see.
That's just because even she was embarrassed. That's why she couldn't That's why she couldn't verbally say it. Even she was embarrassed.
The problem was, though, I got into this weird, and this is me as an experienced decorator.
Yeah.
I got into this weird rut where it started chipping away at my confidence, where I'm thinking maybe I'm not as good as I think I am.
Yeah.
You know, mate, I've got to get this job perfect to be able to justify to myself. And my head, mate, I was so miserable going into that job. We got to the end of it, did the upstairs, and I turned around and I said to Alfie, who was with me at the time, "Oh, no, it wasn't. Sorry, I got another apprentice on at the time." I went, "Look, we're squaring off the upstairs. I'm getting paid. I'm putting an interim invoice in, and that's it." And that's what we did. And as far as I know, 4 years later, that house is still not finished.
But I think that's the type of customer that gets satisfaction out of belittling people that are beneath her.
Yeah.
Or
Sean,
him.
the thing is, she paid me, and I left, and I basically said, "Look, I can't work for you. Like,
Yeah.
no offense, but it's really you are really unpleasant to work for." I actually said that to her. "You're
Yeah.
very unpleasant to work for. I'm really busy. I don't need to be in that position." And it wasn't amicable, but it didn't get nasty. About
Yeah.
2 years later, they rung me again. "Oh, we've had somebody else in. Can you come and put the work right?" I was like, "Absolutely
No,
not.
definitely not.
No
Fuck that.
chance."
So, looking back, is there a business mistake you now see as a turning point for your growth?
That was it.
And I was just going to say, I think you might have answered that one.
Probably that one, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the fucking mistake.
To be honest, listen, this is going to sound really generic and a bit of a bullshit answer, but I'm always learning. Always.
Yeah,
I make mistakes all the time, little, large, whatever. And it's part of, but I embrace it now. I don't see anything as a mistake. I see it as a lesson. So I take the lessons, and I'm glad. I'm thankful for some of them, because that's how you learn. You know.
Definitely.
Somebody once told me a mistake's only a mistake once you've refused to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
If you do the same thing, if you're making the same mistake, it's a problem.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake and that mistake becomes a lesson, it's valuable. So that's kind of the way that I see it.
Sorry, I was on about that today with the vinyl guy. You know, the guy who did my van, because he had an apprentice with him, and the apprentice fucked. So he was peeling off the backing paper bit, the tracing paper, and 2 letters fucked up as he was peeling it off, and he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," like stressing and I said, "It doesn't matter how long you're in the game. You're going to make mistakes every now and then.
Yeah.
As long as you know how to fix the mistake, you'll be fine." So
you learn from your mistakes.
I said,
don't you?
learn from that mistake. You know what not to do next time, or what to do. Stick it down a bit firmer next time, and you'll know how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I said, it doesn't matter how long you're in any job. You're always going to make little fuck up. You're always going to do little fuck ups. And like you've just said then, Russ, as long as you learn from it, you know what to do. It's not a
But
mistake.
be grateful for it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like if you reframe it, because mindset is everything. If you reframe it, like you make a mistake and you're like, that's annoying, but you know what? Thanks for the lesson.
Yeah.
It just feels different, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the most successful people in life are the ones that have made the most mistakes because they've learned the most.
Yeah.
I had a fucking shiter last February or something. I had I've papered with anaglypta wallpapers loads. For a decorator of my age, I've used quite a lot of anaglypta. So I think I hate, and I done an anaglypta in a Holstein landing last year, and I bought anaglypta wallpaper, heavy wallpaper adhesive. I followed the manufacturer's instructions to a T. I wouldn't say as much a mistake, but everything that could have went wrong with did go wrong with the power. It was during one of the named storms last year, and I was working down in a coastal village, and the power went off in the middle. You know, when you're starting a Holstein landing, you start on the biggest drop, didn't you? You start on the
Yeah,
stairwell drop. I'd literally got the first drop down the stairwell, and the power went off. And I said to the customer, "Listen, Magnus Magnusson says it, but I've started. I'll hate to finish. I had to. You can't start and no keep going on. I had to continue the stair wall, and I got to the end of the wall, and I'm just telling myself the power's going to get back on. Power didn't go back on. So, and then of course the following night or day when it did go back on, the wallpaper paste hadn't dried out because it's heavy duty, obviously.
Yeah.
See, when it did dry out, the joints shrunk, and then fortunately because it was still kind of damp, I could rework it. But my God, see the amount of hassle I had. Like I was over pasting the paper to try and count. Like obviously, but this was the point of having the heating on. By the time I got the heating on, I was over pasting the wallpaper to try and give myself more working time. It would still shrink. It was just a bad quality paper, but I could not do a thing with it. Like, and oh my God, I think I'd priced the job for 7 days and I was there 14.
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? That actually, that's another lesson I learned, which is to say no to certain wallpapers, which I will do now. If somebody presents me with an I love wallpaper, no.
I've just been thinking about I love wallpaper then, and I was going to say something about it.
Mate, do you know what? Do you know why, Baz? I hung several and I battled them. I did that, you know what I mean? You're like, I know it ain't very good. I know it ain't me, but I battled to get it up and make it look okay. You know, there was that really popular one, wasn't there? Like a geometric one that had like, it was blue with like rose gold and and it never, you'd line it up at the top. The pattern ran out every time. Anyway, like I did a few of them and I thought this ain't right. And the straw that broke the camel's back, I did it was only a small downstairs toilet for a customer, but they supplied the paper. I love wallpapers. Right. And it was a white paper with a black, it was like a Dalmatian basically, like a random black spot. It might as well have been 101 Dalmatian wallpaper. And I put it on and I put the first couple of drops on. And when I got my brush and went to smooth it, all the black spots just smudged.
Yeah. Well, so I was going to say that to you. So do you know what else used to be bad for that? The square panel paper from I Love Wallpaper. It was like fake paneling. Literally, like you've just said, as soon as you go to smooth it off, all the ink just fucking runs. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that was it, mate. I put 2 drops up and I got the customer and I said, look, I ain't happy with this. I don't want my name to it. I said, look, I'll do 1 or 2 things. Either strip it off, get me something else and I'll rehang it. I won't charge you for the call out. Or if you want me to finish this job, because she was adamant, I can't remember what was going on, but she was like, oh, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I went, if I finish this for you, I'm not going to charge you anything. You can have it done for free. And I don't want you to tell anyone I did it. It's as simple as that. Like,
do you know what though? Some jobs are like that though. Some jobs are like that where it's just been an absolute nightmare to work with, and you just don't want to put your name to it.
And also,
that's it now, though, Baz. Like that. Ever since that, I've turned around and just flat out said, if it's I Love Wallpaper, I'm not hanging it. Well, that's it. It's inferior. It's not good enough.
I've got a little question for you that Sean put out there a few weeks back. Actually, a couple of months back. So what is your opinion on doing So Sean was offering, on about offering only paste the wall paper.
Yep.
What do you mean? So saying you'll only do
Yeah,
paste the
he'll
wall?
only
Because
do paste
I
the
find
wall
it's
paper.
revolutionary. Like, it's so much easier. You don't need
Yeah.
a table. It's cleaner. It's less messy. It's hassle free. I feel like, I mean, I can do both, but I feel like paste the wallpaper, it's an
Yeah, it's just
absolute
so good,
breeze
isn't it?
compared to paste the product.
But
It
yeah, I just
is.
thought I'd
Yeah,
see
I
what.
agree with you. I agree. Paste the wall is obviously easier most of the time. Me personally, I don't mind it, mate. I prefer doing paste the wall generally, but if I get the odd paste the paper coming, I'm a bit like, oh, old school. It's a bit of nostalgia
Yep.
for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop doing paste the paper because I haven't had any problems with having
Yep.
paste the paper, to be fair.
Yeah.
And some of the like high end brands that you work with, if it comes along, I mean, I did one a couple of years ago. It was £400 a roll, and that was paste the paper. I'm not going to say no to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, just while we're on the wallpaper in there, I want to just talk, like, obviously we've slated I love wallpaper, rightly so, but also just want to say, Art House, you're also shit. And Laura Ashley, you're fucking quite shit, by the way. So just while we're slating
Yeah.
companies, I
Just
just
because we're
thought,
slagging out
Am I right
wallpaper
here?
off, you haven't got out scot free.
I don't think Laura Ashley actually exists as Laura Ashley anymore, does it?
No, I
So
haven't
Laura
heard of it
Ashley
for a
went
while.
Well, Laura Ashley, as far as I know, and like somebody fact check me, but as far as I know, Laura Ashley went bankrupt and out of business, and Next bought the rights to the name. So now Next sell Laura
right,
Ashley wallpaper, but it's actually manufactured by Next.
All
well, it's
right.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
Mate,
Regardless,
Next
get the
again.
fuck out
I
of here.
always used to hate Next wallpaper. I mean, to be honest with you, with the exception of, don't know, maybe like some super frescoes that are actually dead easy to throw up.
Yeah.
I don't. If you're going for a finished patterned paper, like a flat finished paper, I don't think you can get a good one for less than about 80 quid a roll now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to disagree with you a wee bit, right? Because I find that, obviously, I don't do a lot of high end work, right? I do quite a lot of like domestic, right? And I think you could buy rolls of wallpaper at £50 a roll, and it can be terrible. It can also be good,
Yeah.
like, but I think you can go to B&M, you can buy 15 quid a roll, 11 quid a roll wallpaper, and it can honestly be the greatest wallpaper you've ever worked with. Like, honestly, some of the B&M wallpapers I've worked with before, they're incredibly decent. Like, and I'm like pleasantly surprised sitting there thinking,
Okay.
"Oh my god, look at this shit!
I'm
It's
yet
going to
to
be terrible."
experience that then, Sean, because
Yeah,
And put
I've
them up,
not
and they've
had.
been.
Are you
I must just
not
be
B&M?
terrible
B&M
working
haven't got
then.
their own brand, have they?
no, they just sell like
I
I
don't
think
know.
They sell.
like stuff that other people couldn't sell. They have just like a little section of wallpapers.
I've honestly had a
I don't
couple
know.
of decent
There
wallpapers to
has been
likes of B and
I
M
think
that
they
I've hung.
do certain super fresco ones as well. To be fair,
The
I've just
Super
tarnished
Frescoes
my.
have always been a decent brand.
yeah. So
Yep.
they
I've
are
just
all
Cheers,
right.
boys. I've just tarnished my reputation there. I've just said I love wallpaper and Laura Ashley are shit. While
And
I've
then it goes
just
straight to fucking B&M.
I've
B&M.
endorsed B and M wallpaper, like so. Thanks.
Do you
There's my
know what though?
reputation been retained.
What always blows my mind a little bit, if I'm honest though, lads, is why somebody will pay a professional paper hanger and then present them with like a £10 a roll wallpaper.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I've said again, I've had this conversation with customers where they've presented me with poor paper, and I've said, look, I can't make that look better than it is.
Yeah.
So would you expect like a roll of paper to be £10 a roll versus a roll of paper that's £70 a roll? Which one would you think is going to look better? And they'll all say, oh, well, probably the £70 a roll. Well, I can't make that £10 a roll look like a £70 roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
it's impossible. But it's I mean, you're dead right though, Sean. It doesn't like price doesn't guarantee the paper's going to be good.
Yep.
But I have found more often than not, if it's below a certain value, it's generally going to be shit.
See, I had a customer once where they were bragging they only paid £5 a roll, and I'm like, well,
Ugh.
it's not you fucking hanging it, it's me,
Hung in toilet roll
Yeah.
on the walls.
literally. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Right, let's lay the decorating world behind. And I think you kind of touched on it at the very start of the show a wee bit, but we'll delve back into it. Where did the idea for the Talking Tradesman come from? Where was the light bulb moment?
Okay,
You did
so
do a psychology degree, didn't you, at one point in your life? Is that right?
yeah. So it's a
So
long story, lads. I'll try and condense it because, to be honest, it's probably a 10-year journey.
yeah, we
I'll try
haven't
and
got 10
condense it
years.
as fuck's sake. just cutting me off, Baz. Right. So basically, at 30 years old, I went through a relationship breakdown and a divorce, right? Prior to that, if you would have asked me at 29 years old, Russ, how's your mental health? My response would have been, ain't got it, mate.
Yeah.
Flat out. I didn't know what it was. I thought mental health was mental illness. I thought mental health was the kind of stuff that gets you wrapped up and put in a padded cell.
Yeah.
Went through my own situation, personal situation, and the stress, the anxiety that brought on. Without jumping too deeply into that for time, what it did, it gave me a fascination on the power of the mind, the power of the brain. So you think, right, if I say to any of you guys, stress can cause a heart attack, nobody would argue, like we all know that. But what is stress? Stress is all in here. Stress is all in your mind. It's your thoughts and your processing. Yeah. So your thoughts can cause physical reactions within your body. And that fascinated me because I kind of latched on to, well, if it must be true in the negative, it also must be true in the positive. So if bad thoughts can cause bad things, good thoughts must be able to cause good. What that led me to do was I jumped into a bit of a fascination around the mind and psychology. So I started initially studying psychology, philosophy, Buddhism, all sorts. Just went down this knowledge hole. As you can probably gather, like I love learning. I love new knowledge. And that was my thing for a bit. And then I got to the stage where I thought, do you know what? I need in business a plan B.
Yeah.
Right, because I've been in the trades my whole life, and I'll hands up now say I do not want to be on the tools at 50. Right,
Yeah.
just purely because I've been doing it so long, and I'm conscious of my body and the wear and tear. So I thought, well, what else can I do? The trades is all I know. So I thought, I've got this new passion for psychology. I'll study that. So I started doing a psychology degree, and then partway through doing that, you have to specialise. You either have to do child psychology, sports psychology, or counselling and therapy. So I thought, wouldn't it be good if somebody like a working class bloke could deliver counselling and therapy to working class blokes? Because I'm going to connect, you know what I mean? I'm going to connect with you. I'm going to connect with you.
Yeah.
And that was my thought process. So I went down there, and then I thought, right, I want some experience. So I went and did the training, and I volunteered for Samaritans for 18 months.
I've seen that, yeah.
And that, mate, that was life-changing. And what that led me to do was I jumped into a bit of a fascination around the mind and psychology. So I started initially studying psychology, philosophy, Buddhism, all sorts. Just went down this knowledge hole. As you can probably gather, like I love learning. I love new knowledge. And that was my thing for a bit. And then I got to the stage where I thought, do you know what? I need in business a plan B.
Yeah.
Right, because I've been in the trades my whole life, and I'll hands up now say I do not want to be on the tools at 50. Right,
Yeah.
just purely because I've been doing it so long, and I'm conscious of my body and the wear and tear. So I thought, well, what else can I do? The trades is all I know. So I thought, I've got this new passion for psychology. I'll study that. So I started doing a psychology degree, and then partway through doing that, you have to specialise. You either have to do child psychology, sports psychology, or counselling and therapy. So I thought, wouldn't it be good if somebody like a working class bloke could deliver counselling and therapy to working class blokes? Because I'm going to connect, you know what I mean? I'm going to connect with you. I'm going to connect with you.
Yeah.
And that was my thought process. So I went down there, and then I thought, right, I want some experience. So I went and did the training, and I volunteered for Samaritans for 18 months.
I've seen that, yeah.
And that, mate, that that was life changing. I know that's a big
So,
statement, but
so
genuinely,
because
that was life
actually,
changing.
so Samaritans, it's like a helpline if you're
Yeah,
dealing with, like, if you got suicidal thoughts in it. Is that
yeah.
basically as simple as it sounds? That you're just sitting on the other end of phone or whatever, and people are calling you up that are having suicidal thoughts.
Yeah,
So
basically, Sean.
that's going to be
It's
very
not the
humbling.
service. The service is a bit bigger than that. So what they say is that Samaritans is there for anyone that's at crisis. So you don't
Right.
have to be as far as you're considering taking your own life, but that was
Yeah.
certainly common.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was basically in a call center where I would take those calls, people that were in crisis that needed somebody to talk to. And it's a listening service. So essentially all you're doing is listening. So you're just listening and letting somebody offload what's going on in the hope that, through the course of that offloading, they'll A, either feel better or B, reconsider what they're considering doing.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful thing to do. And while I was volunteering at Samaritans, what I did notice was that I'm taking loads of calls from tradespeople.
Right.
You'd get talking because one of my, I guess, part of your job was to find out what was going on. So you'd go through almost like a normal set of questions where you'd be like, right, how are things financially for you? Like, how's work? Are you struggling? Is money a problem? And the amount of people I spoke to, and they'd be like, oh, no, I'm a builder, I'm a scaffolder, I'm a decorator, I'm a plumber. And I thought, I'm speaking to a lot of like what I would call my people. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like normal working class lads.
Yeah.
And it just twigged, and I thought, the amount of phone calls I'm taking a disproportionate amount of calls from lads in the trades. So I was on shift one day and I literally went on to Google and I typed in, mental health in construction statistics. It blew me away, mate. Like, I had no idea. I've worked in it all my
So
life. I had no idea how bad it was.
it was like what we looked into the numbers before Christmas. It was like mental health awareness day or suicide prevention day. We just happened to be doing a podcast,
Mm.
and kind of like you say there, mate, that being blown away by the numbers. It was over 700 people a year in the trades.
Yeah.
Yep.
It worked out basically as 2 people a day.
It's just just
Uh,
over
That's
2 a
just
day.
in the trades. Yeah.
And it's the construction industry in the UK is currently the worst industry in the UK for suicide figures. It's got the worst rates out of all. Used to be farmers and vets, but the construction industry has overtaken that. And interestingly, the two worst affected trades within the trades are painters and decorators and plasterers.
Right.
Wow.
And
So
so obviously I know you're not going to have the answers to everything, but like
Mm.
guessing your sale or whatever, what would you say that's because obviously decorators get tarnished with this drinking and this kind
yeah,
of bottom end of the trades. Would you say that obviously drinking, obviously it's known to lead to depression and taking drugs, obviously. Do you think that there's a link there, or is it something else?
I think it's a load of stuff, mate. I don't think it's one thing. I've had a lot of these conversations now, Sean, and what I think it's a perfect storm. I think the reason that plasterers and decorators are at the top of the list is because we are the finishing trades, so we work alone more. We spend a lot more
Yeah,
time solo. I mean, you lads would probably tell, like, how often during the week are you on your own?
exactly. Well,
Exactly.
me and Baz are both sole traders, but that was a
There
kind
you
of
go.
one of the reasons why when we set up this podcast, obviously it's not really to delve too deeply into like so harder subjects, because I think there's, including your
Mm.
own podcast, there's plenty of things like that out there. However, we wanted it to be, if you stick your earbuds on and you're listening to your newer podcast, it's like being in the
Yeah.
room with your mates. We're
Yeah.
talking about your
Like having your
product,
mates in
we're
your ears,
Yeah.
mate.
talking about
Yeah.
every week.
You're
Sure,
having a
Because
laugh.
lads. Yeah,
because it's a
it's
solid,
exactly why I did.
yeah,
Exactly why I set the podcast up, because I thought I can reach people while they're on their own.
yeah,
I don't think that's the only reason, for the record. I think it's just, so you imagine this, right? The key factors that cause the mental health crisis and the suicide rates in construction are this: lone working, money insecurity, the culture, so the drink, drugs, and
Yeah.
alcohol. Yeah,
yeah,
because let's not lie, it is prevalent.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it is.
And also the fact that, you know, it's a macho industry. There's a lot of your typical like alpha males. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Man up,
And
yeah,
all these things come together. So what you've got, oh, you know, money insecurities and burnout is the other thing. So like you guys would be the same as me. I've got no HR department tapping me on the shoulder going, Russ, you've done 80 hours this week, mate. Like, calm it down.
yeah,
Like, if anything, we glorify it amongst ourselves. Like, big up the Saturday workers, big up the Sunday workers. Do you know
yeah.
what? That's bullshit, mate. That's bullshit. We shouldn't have to be working 7 days a week. It's not good. It's not healthy.
Well,
Like, respect to anyone that needs a little bit of money. If it's a one-off here and there, fine, but it should not be 365. And what you get then, right? So say you're at work, you're doing long hours because you're under pressure to bring the money in. Money's insecure. You don't know when you're getting paid. So then your missus is getting pissed off. Now you've got relationship problems. So what you do, you get stressed and you go, do you know what? I'm going to the pub after work today. So now you're drinking. You got your missus on your back. You're working long hours. And tomorrow when you're at work, you're on your own. So now you're in your own head all day. So
Yeah.
what you do is that spirals, it repeats, it spirals, it repeats. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what I'm talking about with a perfect storm. It's not one thing, it's all of it. When
Aye.
it all comes together, that's when people really struggle.
well, do you know what? Probably about 2 years ago now, but I was doing similar to that where I was working. I'd work until about 11 o'clock at night, so I'd do one job through the day and do, say, like a rental at night where there's no one in it. I'd go and do that till about 11 o'clock at night. Then
Yeah.
I'd get home, say 12 o'clock, get home, fucking scran a bit of food, go to sleep, and back up again at 7. Do the exact same thing. And there was just a moment in my life where I just realised, like, I'm not even seeing my kids. I live with my kids and I'm not seeing them. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm actually doing. So, yeah, I started prioritising. I mainly do, if I work evenings now, I mainly do it through the week. So then I've always got the weekend to myself. The only time I work on a weekend now is if I've got like half a day left on the job and I may as well finish it rather than going on Monday. That's the only
Don't get me
time.
wrong, mate.
That's the only time I
Like,
work a weekend.
I respect people that put the hustle in, you know, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
doing some stupid hours at the moment, but there's a big caveat. If it's causing you no problems, then fine. But if it is causing you the problems and it is causing the relationship problems, the burnout, you feel shit, your diet's terrible, you're not sleeping well, that's when it's a problem. If you can manage and some people can, mate, some people are just
Yeah.
like born for it. They can do crazy hours and all that. Maybe you haven't got a relationship that you've got to nurture, or you haven't got kids,
Yeah.
or you know, you might be young and whatever, then fine. Like, if it's not causing you or anyone around you any harm, I don't want to knock people that are out there working weekends, but
Definitely.
I am against the glorification of it. But
I think there's too much.
we've circled.
Sorry, Russ, go on.
I was just going to say, we've circled around a bit, lads, where what I was trying to get at was, once I'd noticed there was this big issue in construction, what I thought I could do about it was just get people talking. And that was where the whole idea for the podcast came about, because I thought, if I can get lads to just de-glorify it, break down the stigma and sit down and go, yeah, man, I'm struggling. This is what I've been through, or this is what I'm going through. This is where I'm struggling. That it would bring people together to break down the stigma that exists about talking about it.
Yeah.
It's certainly done that too, by the way, the podcast. It's been eye-opening because I think nobody was doing what you've done. There was nobody really, not just our men no talking, but by the fact that you've been able to get tradesmen or AWACS from every trade sitting down and talking about their feelings. There's no many people out there pointing and laughing, by the way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a lot of people are thinking, fucking hell, if he's struggling like somebody that's in the public eye, let's say, and telling people how much they are struggling, it's quite eye-opening, like, to see what somebody that...
Lads, I genuinely, I have now, I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but the podcast I mean, it's diversified across the trades. Obviously, I still have a lot of decorators in because it's my trade and I know more
Yeah.
people. I've got more connections there. But then I started getting other trades, and then I started just getting other people. I had people just reach out and go, look, I'm not in the trades, but I've got this journey to talk about. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's an incredible story. Come on in. And I've now sat down with some of the most alpha male that you can get. Like one of the lads, one of my guests, Andy Williams, he's a former paratrooper. He's a fireman now, but he saw heavy active service in Afghanistan. He did close personal protection. He like bodyguarded royalty. And he also worked for MI5. The guy is like a real life James Bond. It don't get much more alpha than that. I've had 6'4" heavyweight bare knuckle boxers who are part of the Hells Angels in. I've had honestly some of the most alpha that you can get come in, sit down, and talk about how they've struggled and nearly broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Incredible.
you know, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, definitely. So what was the moment where you realised, right, this is bigger than just a podcast now? What was there something that just hit you where you was just like, yeah, this is definitely bigger than just having a podcast?
I don't know if it has now, mate. I don't know whether it's deliberate or it's still that self-doubt, mate. I've still got it. I still get guests now where I sit down and I think, why are you here with me? But I think one of my downfalls in life is that I don't appreciate the moment enough. So I set goals like, you know, upgrading equipment. That was a goal. It was like, I can't wait to get a new camera. But then as soon as I get there, I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like, it was a big goal getting the new studio. So studio on the high street, they all listen to your podcast. They get loads from it and it's really helped some of them. But none of them are on LinkedIn. So they asked me to message you and just say thank you. And I'm like, that's it. That's all I need, you know?
You don't realise what a difference you're actually making, do you? Until it's pointed out, like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's obviously
it blows my mind.
In it, it's like you can see how what your grandfather and your dad and that installed into you when you're young, helping you and giving you the pressure is actually changed you into being somebody that, going back to the very start when you helped Baz, something simple as setting up a podcast to the most extreme of sitting down across for a bare knuckle boxer and getting him to spell his heart out to you, helping folk and on the line for the Samaritans, listening and helping folk. There's a theme there, isn't there? It's like it's clearly like genetic. It's in you to be helpful to people.
Do you know what, Sean? To take it back to the Samaritans thing, the thing that struck me with that, right? So I've spent my whole life in business, so I'm focusing on turnover, business, profit. Am I making money here? Can I go bigger there? Can I do this, that, and the other? And when I volunteered at Samaritans, I'll be honest, I did not do it because I thought I want to help people. I did it because I thought my potential option B in business, once I can't be on the tools anymore, is to get into counselling and therapy, and then I can help people whilst earning money. It was going to be a business. So the reason I volunteered at Samaritans, just me being brutally honest, was to work out whether I could do it. Because there was a part of me going, if I'm going to listen to people's traumas, am I going to take that home? Like when I go home to my family, am I going to walk in miserable and depressed and, you know, like broken by something I've heard? Because I thought, from my perspective, I won't do that. Like, I'm not going to take my quality of life with my family down because I'm trying to help other people. So in that respect, I was putting myself first. So that was my motivation to join Samaritans. It wasn't this big, like, selfless act.
No, you say that.
Once I did it,
I think you say that, but again, it's maybe another part of yourself that, like you kind of said earlier on, that you still feel like you're kind of imposter syndrome or whatever, and even saying that you think like you're getting into doing tucking the calls for Samaritans to further down like the line, better yourself in a business way. But there's loads of other ways you could have went in and made money by not being on the tools without going to the Samaritans. So in you, inside your heart, you're still wanting to help people, if that makes sense. There's hundreds, there's
Yeah, of
thousands
course,
of
mate.
ways.
Of
And you
course,
kind
yeah.
of,
It's
uh,
what the thing is though, when I did start doing that, like it wasn't long. I did sat in on a couple of shifts. The feeling, mate, I can't. There's nothing like it. Like to walk
yeah,
out of a shift thinking that maybe what you did or said has just saved somebody's life.
talk
Like
somebody doing exactly.
you drive home and it's a weird thing because people used to say like, oh, how was your shift today? And you'd be like, yeah, amazing, which is weird to say when you're dealing with
Yeah,
people that are in crisis. But I'd drive home thinking, do you know what, I've actually really done something good in the world. And one of the
exactly.
things that I loved about it was that it was completely voluntary. There was no pay, no business, no money. That was nothing to do with it. And it ticked a box I didn't know needed ticking until that point. I didn't know that box was there.
Yeah.
But once I ticked it, I was like, well, I know it's there now. I can't not work on that. And
Phil,
I would like to think one day I'll go back to volunteering at the Samaritans. The only reason I stopped, because I was doing it as well as the podcast for a while. In fact, one of my early guests was actually my director at my Samaritans branch who
right.
came on to talk about the service. But
It's,
the only
it's
reason I
really,
stopped was time.
if it really is like filling your cup up, really, innit? It's like going
Exactly.
away and
Yeah, great analogy.
helping somebody in that. It's no everybody gets serotonin boosts for things like that, but going away and
Mm.
actually helping somebody like I listen to TJ Powers, the dose effect. So it's obviously dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, right? About the chemicals in your
Yeah.
brain, and obviously you get your serotonin boost. Feel like what you're doing. Feel
Learning, listen, I'll tell you this now. If you want to improve yourself in any way, business, personal, whatever, study psychology. Marketing is psychology, right?
Yeah.
All marketing is that the act of marketing is sales, yeah? So and what you're doing with sales, you're trying to get somebody to think that your product is what they want. That is
Yeah.
psychology. You're
right.
manipulating somebody's thoughts and needs and wants, really. Psychology is massive, mate. I mean, I studied psychology, social science, and it's if you were going to study anything, if anything's worth studying, it's that. Like, even if it's just to learn a little bit about your own mind and the way that you process your own things coming in, because that's why I did it, really. It was a lot of self development for me to work out what my sort of like triggers and areas that I needed to work on was. Obviously, then studying psychology when it comes to some of the conversations I'm having, it probably just allows me to understand people a little bit better. You know, we touch on some really raw subjects at times, some traumas, childhood stuff, and it
Yeah,
just helps me to, I guess, understand a little bit about why somebody might have acted a certain way. Because some of my guests, I mean, they've turned some corners. I mean, I had a guy shout out to Chris Booth. He was recently on the James English podcast as well, and he lived, in his own words, a life of chaos and carnage, in and out
yeah,
of prison, very violent offences, but it all comes, you know what I mean? There's reasons, there's traumas that led him to behave that way. And it's not that it's an excuse, but when we're human, mate, we follow patterns. So again, psychology, and I just found it fascinating myself. I don't see how anyone can't find it. Why would you not want to understand how your own mind
Yeah,
works?
exactly.
Did
No,
you
I agree.
did you study it? Obviously, you studied it when you were a painter and decorator, but did you just when you
Mm.
were say like what age were you when you studied it? Did you just study it to better yourself, like or
No, mate. So it stemmed from the divorce.
right?
So to touch on it a little bit, Sean. So I went through a divorce at 30, right? And at that point, as I said to you before, I was a proper lads culture. I played football, rugby, ran my own business. I was out drinking with the lads every weekend. That was my life. Went through this divorce, and alongside the divorce, I spent 2.5 years going through court cases and battles and things to do with arrangements with my kids and stuff like that. So as you can imagine, my stress levels were through the roof. Nothing I'd ever experienced before. So I started to suffer with anxiety, and I had a couple of borderline panic attacks. And if you've never had a panic attack, mate, you think you're dying. Like, I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
chest is tight, you're constricted. And it was all, when I look back now, it was so obvious, you know? I mean, I was, say, in the lead up to a court hearing, my anxiety would be through the roof, but I could be set off by my phone would go off and I'd be like, oh, and I could instantly, my heart rate would go, I'd flush red. I was struggling to sleep, bad upset stomach and stuff like that, just from getting a message on my phone, because straight away I was like, oh, is that my ex? Is that a solicitor? Is that some news that I don't want to hear?
Yep.
And I just got myself to that stage. But because I was so ignorant to mental health, I didn't realise it existed. I couldn't treat it. I couldn't do anything for myself. I was just like completely in denial of what was going on, just trying to put my head down. And I did what everyone does, mate. When you're in that kind of stress, I thought, I'll go to the pub. That'll help.
Yeah.
Aye.
You know, I'll go on a 4-day bender because it's the first Christmas without my kids. So that'll help, won't it? I'll go and get smashed for 4
Yeah, yeah.
days and then
And-
wonder why I'll get to my lowest point in life afterwards. So yeah, the reason I started studying psychology off that, Sean, was because after a period of being single for however long it was, I then met who is now my wife, Angie, and I've got to credit her because she noticed stuff in me where she went, it seems like you're suffering. Are you anxious? Do you feel anxious? And me being me, I was like, no, of course not. I'm fine. You know, typical lad, I'm fine.
Yeah.
As I
Hey,
said,
well-
if you won't accept that there's a problem, you're not going to do the steps to help it, are you?
Exactly.
We've touched on that a bit previously, and we said it's like trying to fix a massive cut with a little plaster. Like, you're just not gonna do
No.
nothing. Like, you can't, like you've just said, you can't get help without admitting it.
No.
So it's
And I was masking it, you know.
quite
I was doing
interesting.
everything that lads do, going out, getting pissed. I probably looked like I was having a great time at
Yeah.
some of it. I certainly wasn't. So, but yeah, that was what sparked, and that was how I guess therapize. Is that even a word? I gave myself therapy just by learning. And once I started learning, mate, I just, like, the other thing again that was really it was a game changer for me was studying the Stoic philosophy. So Stoicism. There's a couple of, in fact, if anyone's still listening to me waffling on, there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way.
Right.
Read that book.
I'm going to write it down.
Last year, I won Painter and Decorator of the Year at On the Tools. Great awards, but there's one award for Painter and Decorator.
Right.
There's other people, you know, obviously you've got like Dulux Painter and Decorator of the Year, Johnson's Painter and Decorator of the Year. I've been through the Johnson's process, and what I will say is the questions I was asked is just what I used and how much of it. So you're not going to win Dulux Painter and Decorator of the Year with a Tickerilla project. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
not going to happen. So independent of brands. So our idea is you can enter a category, as a lot of us do, mate. I mean, I might go to a job and I might use Johnson's, Zinza, Juno,
Yep.
you know, all on one job.
Yeah.
Aye.
So there's no problem there. The way that the idea came up, so my wife, from my perspective, my wife owns an awards company within her industry. She's been going 3 years, going really well. And as soon as she set up her awards, I said to her, we should do one for the P&D industry. There's a massive gap, big hole. If I'm honest, I've just been too busy. So because I've had the podcast going on and a few other like investments that we've got going, I haven't got the time to do a painting and decorating awards on my own. So I've talked about it, and there'll be loads of people in the trade that know, because I've talked about this openly for years about what a great idea it would be. All we want to do, we want to bring the industry together and give normal people the opportunity to get some recognition, because we work so hard and quite often get no recognition for it. Right? And one of the things...
That's why I like the concept of your awards, that it's not going to be just a popularity contest.
No.
It's literally, like some of the people that are already. I follow it on your Instagram where you announce who's up for some of the awards. They're no everybody's a massive brand household name. It's no like
we don't want it, Sean. It's
exactly.
I'll be honest with you. So some of the people that are the big names are incredible decorators, and of course we
Oh,
want them to
yeah,
be a part of it
that's to
because
be
they do
expected.
fantastic work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason, and I'll explain this one to you, so we had a little bit of pushback when we announced the awards and the system that we were doing, because people turned around and went, "Well, you're charging people for entries." It's like, yeah, which I'll explain. Because one, we want people to enter themselves, right? We want people like, you know, Dave Smith, who's been in business 20 years, but he's not even on social media, but he does some incredible work to be able to put himself forwards. We want to encourage that. Now, if we were to make it a nomination thing where you've got to nominate other people for awards, it's obvious that somebody that's huge on social media with hundreds of thousands of followers
Yeah.
has only
Yep.
got to put a message out and say, "Can everyone go vote for me?"
Yeah.
How is
Exactly.
a normal person going to compete with that? They can't. So we're trying to do it in the most fair way possible. And the reason, I'll be, again, completely transparent, the reason that there's a fee for that from our end is because, one, we want to take the proper time to properly look over the application.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of them coming in and they're incredible, mate. They're in depth. We've got, you know, bundles of photos to look through. So one, there's time involved in doing that. And also, to be perfectly blunt, if it was free, we'd be dealing with all sorts of nonsense. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we've
Exactly,
got
aye.
25 categories. Time comes into play. We've got 25 categories. If it was free, certain people would enter all of them.
Yeah.
And we've got like regional categories. We'd be having to sift through, you know, this guy from Wales entering best in England. We'd have to, you know, I mean, we've had some interesting applicants already from people that have actually paid.
Yeah.
So to imagine what would come through if it was free. So that's all that. It's the administration fee is there to cover our time and also to make sure that people put the value to it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's so heartwarming reading some of the applications where people are genuinely like pouring their heart out, and you can see what their business means to them. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, and we want to
You wanna
applaud
put a
that,
spotlight on it, don't you, really?
mate. I saw it firsthand, mate. So last year, obviously, as I said, I was at the On the Tools Awards and I was awarded Painter and Decorator of the Year. And to me, to talk from a business perspective, again, it's brilliant for business. If you can turn around to a customer when you go to quote and you're up against somebody else and you're like, "Oh, by the way, I'm up for an award," it might just give you that little edge.
And
And
especially
technically,
if you win.
you're a golden finish nominee.
Yeah,
Ken,
exactly.
So
This
there's
is
no
what
lie.
this is what we're hoping for. Again, it's to help build the industry and help recognize
Yep.
the people within it that really graft and want to, you know, really want to improve themselves, because this is one of the things that I'm so big for. Like, I want people to nominate yourself. Please, if you think that you're exceptional at what you do, don't be scared to nominate yourself, because there's this weird thing, I don't know whether it's a bit of a British thing really, where it's like, oh, you've got to be humble. I agree to an extent, but if you're proud of your skills and you've earned them and learnt them, put it out there, man.
Yeah.
Like, be proud of it. Let people see how good you are. Like, shine bright, you know.
Well,
And hopefully, we're really looking forward to the night. The other thing I want to cover is the judging process, because it's something else that we're going to be very proud of. We haven't announced it yet, so this is an exclusive. But again, we're bringing over the same system that my wife has used. Now, she's trialed a couple of different systems, and we're bringing over the system that we believe is the fairest of them. So the first thing I want to point out is, amongst the judges, me and Kev don't want to get involved, right? So me and Kev, I don't want to judge. Like, it's not something I want to do. There's a couple of reasons. One, I don't want the potential conflict of interests, because I'm friends with a lot of people.
yeah.
I certainly, and Kev feels the same, you know, it's one of those things where you don't want to detract. If somebody wins it, genuinely deserves it, we don't want anyone turning around and going, "Oh, but they're good mates with Russ, or they're good mates with Kev, or whatever it might be." So we're behind the awards, yes, we're going to run it all, but we're not getting involved in judging. In due course, we'll be appointing judges, and it'll all be a point-based system. So it's going to be as fair as possible, in that our judges will score the applicants by points, and then all of those points will come together to determine the winner. So depending on the category, because some of them have got to operate a little bit differently. But even with some of the categories, even the judges won't know the winner until the scores come together.
Right, like
Now,
Eurovision, innit? It's like Eurovision for decorator.
basically,
Aye,
but
Baz
what that will
best
do, though,
tortillas,
Sean,
meal plan.
right? So what we're going to do, if we've got a category, right, which might be, say, wallpapering, we will break that category down into subcategories. So say you've got 100 points total, that's your best mark. There will be, say, 5 different categories within the category that might have 20 points each, and the judge will have to score, or maybe they've got 15 points out of 20 for that subcategory. And then at the end of it, they'll get their full score. We'll have all of our judges do that, and then those scores will come together to see the winner. Now, what that will do, it will make it very difficult for a judge to pick a friend, and it will be very fucking obvious as well. Because if
Right.
you've got, say if you've got 4 judges, and 3 of those judges score somebody at 70, and 1 judge scores them either up or down, one because maybe they don't like them, or one because maybe they do. If one judge, we're going to have to, turn around and go, mate, either A, you've entered the wrong category, or B, you're not eligible. Or you've put in examples of a spray finish into a wallpapering category, whatever it might be. That's the only admin that we're doing, is just checking that it's in the right box. Other than that, it will be external judging.
It makes it better for you by not being kind of involved in the judging side and impartial, because on the night when people are winning the awards, you get to, you're not standing there thinking, well, he's won, she's won, they've won.
Yeah.
You're standing there with totally like, I've no idea who's got to win these awards.
Yeah.
So the surprises might come for you, and it might be somebody like, I'll be like, oh my god, I didn't realise he was going to win an award. Do
you know what, Sean? If I can do, mate, I'm not sure how it'll work, because obviously we'll have to get trophies done and names and stuff. But if I can do it, so I don't know the winner on the night, I'll do it, because I would love to be able to be there live and have that 100%. Surprise myself.
Exactly. I would be trying, even if obviously you would hate to say it, your wives or something. I'd be saying like sticky tape, a bit of Q1 hour the winners' names or whatever, so that you don't see it, like, because you need that boost, though, like, oh my god, I can't believe he's won an award. I've had him on my podcast. You know what I mean?
It's honestly and truly, like, I hope we get some completely unknown people. Like I say, you don't, again, another great point to make, although it's hard to promote an awards not on social media, so how people would see it, I don't know, but I would love to see some applicants come in from people that aren't even on socials.
Yeah.
Completely unknown. There's no, as I say, there's no, we're doing certain things, we're getting message out to people in certain ways that don't involve social media, so hopefully it will be the choice. But it's truly, we want it open to absolutely we want, the little guy, the big guy, everyone. And that's not to say that we're favouring people that aren't on socials, because again, to repeat, some of the people that are smashing it on socials are doing so because they're absolutely incredibly talented. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. Obviously, it's our first event. It's the first Painting and Decorating independent awards show. We've got really big plans. In fact, when's this episode going out?
13th? No. Wait a minute, I'll just tell you. Is it 13th, Baz?
Right. I'm going to put pressure on ourselves here, because we should have announced this by now. We what, sorry?
The 9th.
When? The 9th?
The 9th.
Okay.
February.
Okay. We should have announced this by now, but we haven't. So there's another exclusive for you guys. The awards it's going to be on the 24th of October at Milton Keynes Stadium. So the venue is booked, the date is booked, that's where it's going to be. The transport links are dead easy. There's also a hotel at the stadium. I've been there for other awards that are not in our industry. It's a great venue. It's going to look amazing. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's going to look, but we've got some incredible plans. So yeah, it's going to be Milton Keynes. Sorry?
Black tie event.
Mate, I'd love to tell you, Sean, but I'll probably get shot. So, it's not going to be a tracksuit event, let's put it that way.
Oh, can you turn up in a pair of whites then? No.
You can if you want. I mean, I won't judge you for one, but you might feel a bit out of
Me and
place.
Baz get a
But yeah,
couple of mates.
it's going to be amazing, mate. Visually, it will look incredible. But as I say, it's going to be Milton Keynes, 24th of October.
So we've got two or three mates that are up for awards already, and me and Baz were already kind of thinking, oh, well, we go down and support our mates at it. So now we've got inside information, Baz. We can book the hotels before anybody else is in.
Do you know what? You've got a week. You've got a week or 9 days to get your booking in before everyone else
we'll
does.
Just resell the fucking rooms.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a great little venue.
It would be good to go and support people that we know. Well, even support people that we don't know.
That's again, mate.
Honestly,
we have
genuinely great, like amazing night just to see people win stuff.
To clarify that one, Baz, we have had people ask, is it going to be finalists only? Is it going to be nominated people only? No.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the people that asked.
There you go. Obviously, we need to work out some way to give our finalists first refusal, because that they need to be there if they want to be there. But absolutely, we want people to come and support. Or even if you're not coming to support, trust me, it's going to be a banging night. So even if you just come down for the party element of it, it's going to be a hell of a night.
Yeah,
it sounds it.
Yeah, definitely. I think
we got some bit. I mean, listen, I'm dipping my. Did you see the Christmas party that I threw?
We did.
I didn't see it, but I have seen.
Did you not?
I wanted to ask you about this.
There was a few names there though.
Exactly. Let's talk about that as well. Yeah. So the Talking Tradesman Summer Social Boat Party. Again, very impulsive decision.
Oh, mate, it looks so good.
Have you not, mate? Check it out. Very impulsive decision of mine. So it's actually come off the back. So I did the Christmas party, which I threw because again, mate, you see the meme go out every year, don't you? The guy at the bar on their own. And I thought, how do we change that? So threw a Christmas party for people that don't have a Christmas party. Incredible event, mate. I had a cracking night. The feedback's been amazing. Everyone had a great time. So I thought, I don't want to leave it a year. And I prefer partying in the summer. So let's put something on in the summer. So we've now got the Talking Tradesman Summer Social Boat Party. Limited tickets. We've only got it's private hire. So it's only going to be us on the boat. We've got a boat called the River King, which is going to sail up the River Severn. You can check it out online, it's mint. But we're going to have a DJ on board. Obviously, there's a bar on board. It was one of those where I booked the boat party and then I thought to myself, well, the boat party is 6 till 9. So it's a bit weird for do you eat before? Do you not eat before? Do you eat after? That's a bit late. And where are people going to go? So I've also booked a venue for before and after. So there's a venue booked for food from 4 o'clock, and then we're going to do the boat party. And then after the boat party, we've got the same venue booked from 9 o'clock till late. Same thing, DJ party till late. It's cool, like bougie little cocktail bar. So yeah, it's going to be again another one not to miss.
Sounds incredible, by the way, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, I'm too busy at this time of year to go. How did I not hear about this?
I was going to message you, but I thought,
18th,
you know what?
18th of July as well. For anyone asking, 18th of July, the boat party is in Stourport-on-Severn, which is obviously local to me. It's where my studio is. Lovely little town. The great thing about it, it's not touristy. So there are loads of hotels around here and they're all dirt cheap. When the Christmas party was on, the local Premier Inn was 37 quid for the night. So cheap hotels.
Stour, is that that's Shipton on Stour? That must be the same river, is it?
No, that's the River Stour. This is the River Severn. Very similar names.
Oh,
so
right.
Stourport-on-Severn. The River Severn goes from, I think it starts in Snowdonia and ends up going out to sea at Bristol. So, but it goes through Stourport, Worcester. So the boat actually sails from Stourport to Worcester. But the other thing, because people have said to me as well, like, oh, I don't know about boats. I get a bit boat sick. Like, it's not on the sea. It's a river. It's very, you won't even notice. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be, there's no waves. It's very smooth.
bolts and holes, bolts and holes.
But yeah, it's been a bit of a mad one because again, there's that imposter syndrome thing of going like, who am I to be throwing this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why am I doing events now? But
no,
you know,
yeah, I think
It's
doing
good that you're doing it.
incredible things to like practicing what you preach. There's a lot of people out there that preach it and they don't do anything
yeah,
about it. You're
they don't turn
literally
it into anything,
raising,
do they?
you're elevating painter and
do you know what, mate?
decorator.
It's so the reason that I did it because I looked at so to take the P&D show in Coventry. Yeah, every year thousands of people travel from all over the country to go there, and I know you get a few freebies, you get the tapes and the bits and pieces, but who actually travels there for the free stuff? They don't. They travel there for the community. Yeah, for the community, to meet up with people, to see the people that you speak to on socials. And that, I think, again, is what our trade's lacking a bit. So putting these events together is for that. It's just to give people an event, an opportunity to come together and connect. Again, the boat party, I'd be treading on thin ice if I announced it now, but we've got a few sponsors already. So there's going to be some brands that are going to be there at the party as well. So there's good opportunity to mix with some of the influential people behind some of the brands, I guess.
Yeah.
Incredible. So
Russ was sat there
what's
going,
next
right, what can I
for the
say?
Talking Tradesman?
I definitely can't say that.
Mate, it's hard, isn't it?
Trying to not give it away when you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where would you say you see the Talking Tradesman?
It could all finish in 6 months. It could dry up. I don't know. Then again, it could continue getting bigger and better. I mean, last year we got into the top 250 podcasts in the world. So if I was being goal oriented, it'll be like, right, next year I want to be the top 100. But I won't say who because I'm sure they'd be happy for me to say it. But just in case.
Yeah.
But like it's leading to other things. So because of the podcast, somebody high up in one of the big paint companies that you will definitely know reached out to me on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and as a result of that and the result of them seeing the work with the podcast, they've got me going up to their head office next week to deliver a talk to their management teams on mental health in construction, particularly our industry, and where people are struggling. So that's brilliant to see that the brands are wanting to know that. And then I've got to deliver a webinar to their entire infrastructure. So like that'll be all their like branch managers and everything that will then get to see that as well. So that's nice because that's come off the back of the podcast. So I don't know, mate, maybe more stuff like that. If we can just bring about change, then, you know, I'll take that as a win, mate. I'd step away tomorrow.
So
100%. Great answer.
What would your message to the trade be? Or what is your message to the trade? It could be mental health, business. It could literally be anything.
Oh, mate, there's so many.
Yeah, it is quite hard because, like
do you know what? I'll give you this. So I've got a tattoo. So when I studied the Stoics and philosophy, I read a lot from Marcus Aurelius, who everyone will know because he was like the old emperor in the film Gladiator, you know, the old man.
Yeah.
So not Russell Crowe, but the old guy.
Yeah.
So that was Marcus Aurelius, famous Roman emperor, conqueror, and all the rest of it. Anyway, he was a Stoic philosopher as well, which is kind of incredible considering what he did. But one of his quotes was that the soul becomes dyed by the colour of its thoughts. And what that means is simply you are your thoughts. Like you are what you think. So if I were to give a message to the trade, it would just be to step back for a minute and just work out what actually matters.
Yeah.
You know, social media, competing and the bitchiness that you see and the competitiveness with the ambassadors that you see arguing about what paintbrush and getting all tribal. Just step back. Look at what actually matters to you, your loved ones, your happiness, your family, and work on that. Forget everything else. It's just noise.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all need to work, we all need to earn money, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Perspective.
We don't
That's
need to
it.
batter. You don't need to beat everybody down round about you because somebody's doing something different to us.
No.
Well,
Except if you're using I
that's a
love
great
wallpaper.
message because it's like you was just touching on then, Sean. Like anything I see online, like we've touched on it before, but I won't leave a negative comment on another decorator's post. I'll never
Same.
do it. If I don't like the way someone's doing something, not that I ever do. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, we're all different. I've never looked at someone and gone, oh, I won't do it that way.
Yeah.
But if I ever saw it, I wouldn't leave a negative comment. I just wouldn't say anything. But there's so many
There's no need,
people
mate.
quick. There's so many people quick enough
Yeah.
to just go, oh, fucking hell, da. And like you was just saying then, about things that really matter. Anything on social media doesn't matter. If people leave a negative comment on your stuff, it doesn't matter. Just don't even let it get like.
It's funny because
Some people let
I
it
saw
ruin the day. It really gets to them.
absolutely, mate. I saw it was a quote or a meme or something like that a while ago, and again, it just when certain things you read them and they just go a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And it was one of them, and I read it, and it literally just said, in 100 years, you and everybody you know and love will be dead. So
Yeah.
what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that sounds morbid, right? But if you take it the other way and you actually use that as like, what does it matter? I want to try that thing. I'll do it if I fail. What's it matter? If I look
Exactly.
stupid, what does it matter? We'll all
And
be
again-
dead soon anyway. Like, live it to the max.
Aye,
And again,
well,
it
that's a
falls
great
back to
fucking
letting
way to look
fear
at it.
overtake you. Not trying new stuff.
Exactly, because like I said, what does it matter? What's the worst thing that'll happen?
Is there anything else you want to touch on?
I don't think so, boys. I think I've done all the selling I can do. So,
Yeah, no,
but
know
no,
what?
listen, it's been a real pleasure. I want to thank you for having me on the platform, and also just a message to you guys to just say again. I mean, I know you guys don't touch on mental health and that, but you don't have to. Like, you'll be helping people just putting these episodes out.
Yeah.
And the fun, the banter, making people smile, making people laugh, mate, that is just as important. So, like, the work that you're doing with the podcast, it's important. Keep it up. That's it, really. Just like, well done for stepping into the space the way that you guys
Thank you.
have. Because I know, there's a couple of podcasts here and there, but when you talk, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or, whatever people are in the trade, it's a lot. There's barely, like, we're in the 0.000, whatever of people that are putting themselves out there. So all credit to you guys, keep it up. Well done for what you're doing. And yeah, it's a little pat on the back,
I
really.
think that was always our aim, wasn't it? Because as you was on about before, when you was on about the GFA awards, and you'd said to Kev, I've been thinking about it, and Kev was like, so have I. But that's what me and Sean did. Because I said, I've been thinking about doing a podcast, and Sean was like, well, I've actually been on about doing something where. What was yours, Sean? Was it like, were you going on walks and stuff? And
I was going to start a podcast up where I was going to walk and talk to people to get people outdoors walking and exercising, but talk to no similar to what you're doing, but speaking more about mental health side of stuff, but also just going out a walk, even if it's a 30-minute walk with somebody, and because I thought there's loads of podcasts out there, but everybody's sitting in a room or sitting in a studio doing a podcast, which is obviously the way it works. I was wanting to tuck people out into the. I was getting sound like a serial killer, tuck people out into the woods and stuff like that. But I mean, when Baz had said, I had thought about. In fact, I actually made up my own YouTube and set it up, but I never ever uploaded a single episode. And when Baz had mentioned in a group chat saying about setting up a podcast, straight away I was like, I've been thinking about making a podcast, and I think it works quite well with the two us, and we're quite different, but we're obviously similar to like.
To be fair, lads, it's early days, isn't it? You've only just really got going. There's so many things that you could do in terms of getting together, going on the road.
yeah, we've got a lot of things planned for the future or in the
Yeah.
works or little bits and bobs. But again, it's all to give back to the decorating community. Everything we're going to do, like similar to you, it's all to give back. Do you know what I mean?
And I actually, I really enjoy sitting doing this. By the way, like I love sitting doing it. I don't like similar to yourself. When we first started doing it, I used to get nervous sitting before a guest came on. The questions were coming on. Now I'm not saying I don't get nervous now, but it's less nerves and
Mm.
more apprehension.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for a
Yeah.
guest to come on, and I mean I don't struggle talking to anybody. You could put me into a room with 20 strangers, and I could strike up a conversation and find a common denominator with the majority of people in the room. I've always been quite good at
Yeah.
parties and stuff, just by being able to speak to anybody, any walk of life, like. And I really enjoy getting on, whether it's yourself or somebody with a small following, on a walk of life, and getting them on and hearing their stories. And Ken, it's incredible, like different perspectives in life too. And just why, before I get back to Baz, can I just say thank you very much for coming on? Again, we're quite a wee podcast, and we're in our infancy, and I'm sure you understand yourself. You'd have been in your infancy when you first set it up, and you've been here and you've done it. And we are both fanboys of the Talking Tradesman. I do love the paint and decorator episodes more, but after hearing some of the other people that I've had on, I probably will hate to go through the back catalogue and catch up with some of the episodes that I haven't watched yet. But no, I very much appreciate the kind words that you've said about us and for being so open.
And when Kev came on, same thing. I was like 5 episodes in, subscribers, followers were irrelevant, and he really
Yeah.
boosted not only the attention that the podcast was getting, but boosted probably me
Yeah.
to go,
Yeah.
fucking hell, like actually, if this guy believes in it, then it all started to top up my glass, as you were saying, Sean, in
Yeah.
terms of like
Yeah.
self-belief, really. So if me coming and sitting down with you guys has done that for you in any way, then that's an
100%
honour as well.
Yeah.
Aye.
No, absolutely. And it's the same. Whereas Kev, he's also a genuinely nice guy. Do you know what I mean? So you're our Kev essentially at the minute. Do you know?
I'll take that title.
Sorry, Kev. We love you, really.
Keep in mind now, don't want you guys having Kev on and then saying, you know what I mean, me falling down the pecking order.
Nah, you won't. We'll always love you, Russ. Don't worry. But no, are we wrapping up?
Yep.
Fine, happy day.
Been a pleasure, boys.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it'd be nice to have you on again at some point.
No doubt, mate. There'll be plenty to catch up on.
Yeah.
Boat party stories.
By the time you get back on, there will definitely be a lot to catch up on.
Hey, there's an episode for
on
you.
both
Get yourselves
ends.
a ticket. Get yourselves a ticket to the boat party, and we'll do a live podcast on there.
There you
Hey,
go. There's
there you
there's
go.
an idea.
There's an
Yeah.
idea. So, yeah, you'll have to message us about that, because we'll actually do something like that. It'd be good, that.
Yeah, mate, it's all online. Tickets are out
Yeah.
for sale now, so the tickets. Probably should have said that really, but you can get the tickets on my website. You go on to www.thetalkingtradesman.co.uk. The tickets are all for sale.
Perfect.
And just before we let you go, the Talking Tradesman is on Instagram, obviously is on YouTube, is on Facebook. Are you on any of the other streaming, Spotify, etc.?
TikTok, all of them. So any of the social media channels,
Yeah,
if
on
anyone wants to
TikTok.
type in, yeah.
The only difference on TikTok is the.talking.tradesman. So just there's a wee
That's it.
difference here for the TikTok name. So just if you're
And
looking
if-
for them, it's on every social platform.
And if
Pass.
by chance you've never watched the Talking Tradesman episode, go and check it out, because they're genuinely really, really good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Baz. Thank you, man.
Right, that's a wrap. I've been Baz, that's been Sean, and we've been the Decorators Den. See you next week.